on the other side. Go.
I can't do it.
Help me, Lord. Help me get over this loss.
I can't breathe.
Hey, I can't breathe. I'm so upset. I can't breathe. Stop. You knock on wood so they go to heaven. It's like a lucky. Hey, get the stick.
Yeah.
Hey, did you get the meat stick?
Yeah, I got it.
Hey, just hold tight for a second. They're moving the casket. Just hold tight.
Yeah, that's no worries. I got it.
Oh, what an awesome day for a pump, dude.
Yeah, I gotta take it easy. Doc says if I exert myself, I will die.
You overexert yourself, you will die.
I'll tell you what, you finish the workout, all these could be yours. That looks good. A little bit of honey ham for the ham. Get after it, and that's your, nope, get after it, and that's your treat. Stay, do the exercise, do the work, then you get the reward. That's how this works, man. You gotta give it max effort, maximum effort. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Big hams. Make it work, those hams. Work them. Putting in the work. Yeah, baby. Yes. Dude, this is a spicy workout. Gotta make it worth it. Building the beef and bringing home the bacon, baby. I'm loving it. Teriyaki is just about within your reach. Come on, get you some. Come on. Ooh, ooh. Maximum effort. Maximum effort. You're there. You're almost there.
That's so worth it.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to another NECC Overwatch night. I'm, of course, Tiny Shiny with 2 Tryhard Ray. We got some banger matchups coming up on the way, and pretty much all of our teams right now that we're going to have on stream are either within the top 20 power rankings or are very close to reaching that point. So this is a very important games all across the board, and some that are going to put the test to the rises we've seen some upcoming rosters see.
Yeah, I would say for 2 of these teams, Briarcliff, who's in our first game against Fisher, hovering around that 11 to 15 area a lot of the time. They have a chance to make a huge statement against one of the top 5 teams in collegiate right now, being Fisher, and make a big, strong statement to push themselves into the top 10. And in our second match, we got an interstate rivalry, UCI versus CSULB, which CSULB has been one of the up-and-coming California school Overwatch teams. UCI has been one of the only other California schools to really give them the run for their money recently, but UCI is on a whole different level, so it's going to be really tough for them. But if they make a win there, man, that really shakes up the rankings.
And hey, we talk about our rankings, and we can talk about the teams that are behind those rankings, because I think with our very first match, as you mentioned, Briarcliff will be taking on Fisher. Fisher currently sits at a number 3 position, if I'm not mistaken, but they are also 1-1 in NECC. They had to go up against, I believe it was Winthrop University, or no, it was Bryant Stratton University that they ended up losing to, which is quite an upset for this team going in. You really expect Fisher to be punching along those top ropes, especially with players like Hydron, Grapes, Iron, like all of these players very well known, not only just in collegiate, but also in the OWCS pro scene. Whereas Briarcliff has been another team that has continued to punch up. They played on LAN just this past weekend, placed second in that. You have team power such as Bug Soup, aka Mari, who's very well known for her performances in Calling All Heroes, has won championships there, and she's looked incredible coming into Briarcliff this semester, and is really going to put that. I think Fisher is going to be a testing match for Briarcliff, is how high can they actually reach before they reach another spot. They're like, all right, we got to go back and figure out how we can continue to grow.
I think this is going to tell us a lot about Fisher as well. To me, it's always been like ISU, tier cut, Winthrop, another tier cut. And then after that, it's like we kind of don't know exactly where everyone falls. We kind of had to see as the season progresses how this ends up going. I think, Fisher's in that mix. BSC proved last week 3-0ing Fisher that they are in that mix. And so if a team like Briarcliff can come in and either win or put up a good fight, I feel like, that says a lot whether Briarcliff is closer to that group up there, or maybe Fisher maybe isn't like in that 3 and 4 slot. Like we kind of think they've had major overhauls to their roster, obviously like Cave and some of their other players graduating last semester. So it's been tough sledding for them trying to retune this roster.
And they're going to go ahead and decide Lijiang Tower to be the start for this little battle that we're going to have going on for a spot. Fisher defending their recognition towards the top levels, and Briarcliff seeing how far that they can truly push the limits. And you know what everyone's been doing to get ready for this? They're using our wonderful partnered, they're fueling their game with our Wenzel's Farm Snack Sticks. No miss, no distractions, just bold, protein-packed flavor to keep you locked in. Whether you're grinding ranked or leading the squad, Wenzel's keeps you powered up. You can grab a stick, stay in the game, and crush the competition, which will certainly be happening one way or another, Ray. And even though Fisher, heavily favored, I am so excited to see what Briarcliff can pull out, especially with Perks being active for the first week in NECC.
Yeah, this is going to be very exciting, especially when we don't have hero bans in NECC. I think the perks are going to be that much more important in the map choices. So we have both teams currently, as you can see, we're on Night Market, both highlighting a Ramatra composition, which is interesting because I wasn't sure, whether, obviously this is more of a brawl style map, whether you'd get the Orisa or the Ramatra, both pretty good right now, but The interesting part is Hydron highlighting this Pharah right now. No mercy pocket whatsoever. Jodello's also going to go over there, so we're going to have a Pharah Sky battle.
And the only difference between these two comps is Juven on his signature Sojourn and Cosmic's Genji, who has had strong performances in the past. Jodello not giving Fisher the chance to showcase their strong Genji performance. It's actually, I believe, a wraparound Hydron ended up going for a longer flank, and there just wasn't enough damage in the front line. Briarcliff recognized it and pushed right in.
You know, I think it's also going to be harder for Hydron to be able to find angles and get a lot of that damage down because of the fact that Juven is playing that Sojourn. So you have pressure, someone who can get you out of the skies. So it makes Hydron have to be that much more careful.
We'll have to see. Cosmic kind of blew up, though, a little bit early on in that fight, so it's kind of the same sort of deal. Fisher Esports are losing integral pieces of their comp before they can get Iron in a position to actually initiate with the rest of the team. It does seem that they only end up losing their Pharah, so getting back in won't be too hard.
So you see Mari taking really great positioning, getting the Ravenous Vortex out of Iron also is a great step because we see the rotations coming in.
Starting to poke on in, but again, Jodello beats out Hydron in this Sky duel. Fisher are yet to take a full 5-person fight because of this wonderful hold that Briarcliff are setting up at the choke points, denying the space before Fisher can even think about taking it. Cosmic now very aggressive, sub 30 HP. Benji gets yet another stagger. The Fisher Esports are left facing. Briarcliff are doing their best to clean up, but only now will the first final blows of the game for Fisher rolling through, but much too late.
Yeah, I mean, finally Fisher got some picks, but it doesn't matter when early on Briarcliff keeps finding early picks and early staggers and then is able to stack on top of that. Doesn't matter how many kills you get if you keep letting Briarcliff find these early picks. We got dueling orbital rays coming in this next fight.
Well, and don't think you're going to use either of them, considering Iron just blew up into a bajillion pieces. Barrage is so good now that you can use the movement ability while it's active. Jodella showing off that perk almost instantly here. Fisher Esports, they're going to be down to their last leg now.
Yeah, final fight opportunity for Fisher to try and flip this point or else Briarcliff's getting this and they have so many ults available.
And Juven popped it first. You, again, don't have a tank to push. Fisher Esports guaranteed a touch on this Night Market, but how realistically are you going to win it? You're fighting a 3v5 against not only a sound barrier, but, well, okay, no longer a sound barrier. Graves made sure of that, but he's fighting against 5 angry Briarcliff Chargers who want absolutely nothing to do with him and the rest of his team. Did buy enough time for perhaps another player to get a touch in, and you're just kind of throwing things to the wall, hoping what sticks, and the only thing that has stuck, Ray, is Briarcliff on this point. 100-10, not a single fight win for Fisher.
Yeah, what an opening statement for Briarcliff. As we talked about, they have an opportunity here to make a big statement, given the fact that Briarcliff tends to hang around in that 10 to 15 range, while Fisher tends to hang around in our top 5 range. They get a win here, they're coming out and they're already showing that, hey, we're on the rise here. As you mentioned, they just went to a LAN, got 2nd place. They're like, we're ready to start punching up to some of these big boys. Great opening statement.
And there's a lot of the angles, too, that Jodello and Juven took. You positioned Bug Soup at, like, this main choke point. All of Fisher was focused on that, whereas Juven and Jodello were playing in completely different spots, applying pressure, and Fisher couldn't take the corresponding space as a result. We're now going to Gardens, which is kind of similar in that regard. It's more open. You can take those angles. Hydron will be going over to the Sojourn this time. Not even going to attempt to duel Jodello in the sky, which has worked out so far. Bug Soup is not exactly in the healthiest place, and eventually it'll be great to deal her a final blow. And for the first time, Briarcliff losing out on their tank will have to back off and give Fisher this first cap.
Yeah, this time Jodello's going to be in the least advantageous position because now you got Hydron on the Sojourn who can now go after them, and Cosmic can continue the ground and pound attack. Hydron also getting Juven there. This is the Hydron we know and love. When he's on those hit scans, absolutely raining terror, that's Hydron.
Pharah perhaps not a Hydron hero just yet, and that's okay. Go ahead and stick him on the Sojourn. You can expect great things to happen, and I think what ended up going on in that first fight, too, is he just put so much pressure on Tamari in this front line, as well as kind of charging up those shots, saving them for Jodello, and denying that big burst damage that was hurting the team previously. Iron, though, about half HP, just as the push was about to start. Again, it's Hydron to get a final blow going for Fisher. How long are they going to be able to last? It is even trade 4v4 for the time being. It is Kiwi's orbital ray hit the ground first, setting most of Briarcliff running, and it seems that all of them are going to get out safe, and this sets them up great for Wed2 to re-engage in an orbital ray of their own. Hydron desperately trying to get a kill, ends up overextending, and that's going to hurt Fisher in the long run. Not even needing to use the Juno ultimate yet. Briarcliff now have free access towards this objective and have managed to clear most of Fisher away for free.
Exactly, that was the big point, is they were trying to push up, take advantage of the orbital ray, but Briarcliff did a great job of just getting back, getting to that health pack, and not allowing
still
them
going.
to take advantage of it. Hydron pushes up too much, you know, basically Icarus flying too close to the sun, gets punished. Briarcliff able to clean up without using any ultimates. Just look at this. They have full control of the point in all 5 of their ultimates, Tiny. This is lovely position to be in if you're Briarcliff.
Wonderful discipline from Briarcliff right now. It's something that Fisher's known for in the past, is how good they are at managing their ultimates and their tools, but they don't have enough respect for Briarcliff. It is sent Grapes, though, actually sent Bug Soup off the cliff. These ultimates flying left, right, and center, but it's Hydron who's making a statement. Second rail shot to the dome, looking for a third now. Grapes giving him a little bit extra power boost with that Soj in the sound barrier. Yeah, Valbejuven hitting the deck, and likely Briarcliff's capture percentage as a result. Yeah, no. Briarcliff should not be attempting to touch this anymore. Going for a reset.
Listen, in that fight, Hydron said, listen, Juven, you're a great Sojourn, up-and-coming player, but I've been to the mean streets of Overwatch League. I've been here, done that, absolutely rolled in that fight in the Sojourn 1v1, and they both had sound barriers, so it was even, it was all fair there.
Now, all is fair in the game of war. Well, not usually. This time it will be, though. Both Ramatra ults are going to be online. The Annihilation, not sure when they want to be popped. More often than not, it's to stay alive in this sense, but no, Iron is out for blood. Tries to go for a flank in the back line. These extra purple tendrils of damage make it easier for Cosmic to go ahead and follow up on it. Marching straight towards the spawn. Briarcliff, this is last fight. I don't think there's anyone left alive to get a contest going. Fisher cleaned up their act on this match, showing a lot more respect to the Chargers' name.
Yeah, that was a much needed response from the side of Fisher. Hydron getting back onto that tried and true Sojourn. Feels like Fisher is all on heroes they're most comfortable on. Like Iron, we know he's a great Ramatra player. Grapes, we know they're a great Lucia player, etc. As you mentioned, Cosmic, the classic Genji they love to play. Hydron back on that Sojourn. So the question is, with Briarcliff, now that Fisher has really settled in, what kind of changes do you look to make? And we'll see, but as it sits, Mari is highlighting that Mauga.
Mari's like, you know what? If we can't win at good old honest Overwatch, prepare to fight through a dumpster fire. That is the message Briarcliff are setting to Fisher, heading into Control Center. It's not fun to play a Ramatra into a Mauga whatsoever, nor the spam damage. You're not even gonna have a chance. Couple of Cheetos to the dome and goodbye Kiwi. So yeah, Briarcliff getting themselves a really good start just on this point.
They out here cheesing it, Tiny. It's like you went to
Oh!
Olive Garden and you had them keep cranking that cheese grater. Extra cheese, but it doesn't matter. Fisher found the opening with Hydron getting a big headshot with the railgun, and now just in the blink of an eye, when Briarcliff had everything in the palm of their hand, Fisher flips the point on their head as Iron as went to a Ramatra, Mauga of their own.
A little too much cheese on that. Hydron more so acting as a skill check right now. Briarcliff will overextend. He'll make sure to take off a head or two. Actually pretty decently close to this ultimate already, but it's actually Cosmic to get into this fight first. Has been very silent so far in this game, and again, a Mauga composition like this, you gotta get active somewhere, and it's been following Iron around on these stumps. No tank or Torbjorn to be dealt with. Fisher extending their control.
It's great to see Fisher being able to respond like, look, we see that you played our counter playing the Mauga. We can pull that out on our own and do it ourselves, and they're playing it beautifully. I'm not a big fan of the Moira for the Wed tube. you're not going to have a lot of sustained healing. So Briarcliff has to win these fights really quickly.
And no, not a lot of sustained healing. You kind of play it for the Coalescence, but I believe the stop actually canceled it. Web2's ultimate completely dissipated. Iron made sure of it. Trades back and forth, but not having a tank is much more damaging for the current point controllers. You kite out Hydron's overclock if they can do it, but he's getting so aggressive. Had his bloods out on Jodello. Juven also falling through that. Wonderful choice by Fisher, knowing they didn't have a tank and the re-engage would be a lot more painful. They just bought themselves so much time.
Yeah, Benji, however, did get 2 picks, swapping over the Honor real quick to be able to get that ante and find some picks. So it forces Fisher to have to play back and allow space to be bought for the side of Briarcliff, and they can re-engage with these DPS ultimates.
Do end up just giving up the point for the time being, opting to play positioning instead, which there isn't nothing wrong with that, especially if you're going to use this cage fight in the middle. This is where things start to get crazy. You question, what's going on when you scream? Well, no Iron, Kiwi, and Cosmic are currently 6 feet under thanks to the lava placed at their feet and not Bugsoup's cage. That was actually Iron's instead.
This is a great opportunity for Briarcliff to try and even the score here, because they're going to have a cage. The only ult that Fisher's going to have at their disposal is going to be this orbital ray, but you'll have this Coalescence ready to heal your team through it. You know, combo that with the cage and you're looking great.
Yeah, a great spot for the Chargers to be in, unless you're Mari's health bar right now. Web2 just getting the Coalescence online. Fades into the back line, maybe trying to get a trade going, but that doesn't really matter if your whole team's kind of already dead. I saw the vision from Briarcliff. It just took too much poke damage to get to your spots.
I saw the vision too. The vision is you needed your Coalescence if you're going to go be that aggressive, and they didn't have it yet online. So, you know, you mentioned they took too much poke. I think going for that Gambit, you were going to take poke. You needed the Coalescence, and they didn't have it.
Well, you got it now, that's for sure. Bugsuit can get aggressive as she wants for at least the next couple of seconds. Cosmic certainly feeling the pain of that support ultimate, so Briarcliff will just go ahead and take this point. Both these teams, Ray, are not letting themselves get staggered much at all.
No, I mean, this is exactly what you expect at a high-level collegiate, knowing, okay, we lost 1 or 2 players. Let's not feed any more ult charge, get out of there, and look to re-engage that much faster. Grapes will have a sound barrier as well. Cosmic a blade, however, but then she's got the sound barrier.
Both sound barriers popped early, one in response to Cosmic's Dragon Blade, as we expected to happen. Again, Bugsuit oversteps her boundaries when it comes to this Malga not having a tank, a stable pillar to go behind. It's just Hydron turning the rest of the Briarcliff Chargers into his own personal targets, and that team kill will go ahead and do it. Fisher Esports take Lijiang Tower 2-1.
To me, that felt like, on that map specifically, a Hydron gap on the Sojourn who kept getting early pickoffs, and then it felt like Iron really took an advantage in that Malga 1v1. I mean, we saw when Mari came out, dominated the Ramattra, but when things were even and they were playing the same thing, I think Iron showed they were a little bit more steadfast. Their positioning tended to be a little bit, I don't know if you want to call it safer, smarter, whatever. They were making sure they didn't die.
It did seem that there were some slight miscommunications on Briarcliff's ends in terms of where we're going to see Bugsuit Mari engage. So by the time she went in, perhaps it was too far to get the healing from a Lucio Moira, because that's short range, right? And it's not a lot of burst. So
it's hard to know, you know what I mean, when you don't hear their comms. So it's hard to know whether, you know, the support's like, hey, you can't do that, but they're still doing it anyway, or what was going on there. But that's just a disconnect. There was the supports in the tank weren't playing in as perfect tandem as they could have been on that map, and that makes a difference considering how that third map was pretty close percentage wise.
And like, you even think back to the first map when it was done correctly, when that communication was present. Think about these angles that we saw the DPS setting up. We had Bugsuit holding down the main point. We never really had to worry about the supports because they were playing safe enough. It is proven that Briarcliff can beat them at the top. It was as soon as Hydron swapped to that Sojourn, we were like, okay, that's a head scratcher. He's going to hit the shots if you give him the opportunity to do so. And that's something you got to keep in mind when you're choosing whether you're going to go to Hybrid or Escort next.
Exactly. So how it's going to work is Briarcliff will get to choose Hybrid or Escort, and then based on that, Fisher will get to ban one map, and then Briarcliff will get to pick one map. So got a little bit of patience to wait here as we get the votes in from the different situations for these teams. But I think both teams coming out of that map, you know, the fact that Briarcliff was able to take one map, but, you know, if you're Fisher, you could also be like, we had Hydron on Pharaoh. I mean, as soon as we put him on Sojourn, we dominated. But I mean, considering how close the third map was, is what gives me like hope if you're Briarcliff. Like, hey, we can play with this team. Like, we got to clean a few things up there, but we can beat them.
I don't think Briarcliff are out of this at all. I think there needs to be more respect on the Hydran Sojourn, and also just ensuring that where your tank is positioned is relative to where the rest of your team can support it. If those things can happen, then very well, we have ourselves an even match. Because honestly, Juven and Jodella were doing pretty dang well, Ray.
That's such a crazy statement. I think there needs to be more respect on that Hydron Sojourn.
There
Like
does
that
need to be.
that just seems crazy. Like, why would that even be a statement? You feel like there'd be plenty of respect there, but I agree. There were plenty of times where just free angles for him to just pick people off. I'm like, you can't just let him do that. You got to pressure him. Like, nah, he's gonna hit those headshots every day till Sunday. But focusing in on what these teams like to play. I know you know Briarcliff pretty well, Tiny. Where do you think they want to take us? I mean, we know it's escort, but are they thinking more dive? Or what do you think they want to take us to?
And here's the thing with Briarcliff. They're an incredibly flexible team. Mari can play basically any tank under the sun, except
Mari's
Wrecking
great.
Ball. I don't want to see her Wrecking Ball. I saw it a tiny bit once. Not my cup of tea. I don't think it's hers either. So we're going to move on. But outside of that pool...
They're not Junbin.
Exactly. You have options, right? So Briarcliff, if you want to focus on more of a dive-centric map, you can go for it. Put Jodella back on that Genji. Keep your Juven on either a Tracer or go back to that Sojourn that was kind of working out. Mari also is a very strong Sigma player, and that's a hero that's been making a little bit more of appearance in high-level play. Sigma is her favorite hero. She nicknames herself a certified astrophysicist, which I believe is actually an in-game tagline you can have like on your profile. I don't know if she still uses it, but that's kind of her thing, is the Sigma. So you name it, Briarcliff can play it. But this is honestly, Ray, the first time that I'm actually seeing them come out on a stage like this, and I'm just confident in the flexibility that they can have to make the best decision. It should be something that's comfortable to Briarcliff, though, not something that plays well into Fisher's comp.
We're just going to have to find out shortly what these teams are looking, how they're feeling. As we mentioned, we did get the word in that we will be going to escort. So a rule of thumb, escort tends to be more divey than it does tend to be more brawly. I think Shambali is like the only escort map I think of. I'm like, oh, you're going to play brawl on that map.
Kind of Havana. A little bit.
Yeah, first point, Havana. Yeah, that's fair. Another point I was thinking when you're talking about the Sigma being a little bit more popular, that's always been a question for me because I wasn't sure if it's because Sigma was more popular or Sigma was a good counter to ball. And we saw a lot of teams playing ball, especially, we saw it in Korea. Plus we saw Liquid's tank playing that. The name is escaping me right now, but
that's just
yeah. So the Sigma was a great counter to the ball. So that's the big question, is Sigma actually starting to poke its head out, or was it just a good counter to the ball? And I think we're going to see a lot less ball. I think we're going to see a lot of teams playing Winston now.
Yeah, Winston's also a very good pick. I think Mari can play both Winston and D.Va, does prefer the D.Va, and I think I've liked her D.Va a little bit more than the Winston too, if that's what you want to do. And the outliers, of course, are Shambali and Havana. If we're going to do more of a Ramatra sort of approach, which I wouldn't hate that, considering how the last map
Infected.
went.
That's who it
Infected.
was.
Yes, it was Infected. I was confused because I'm like, a Sigma player. I'm like, I thought Infected plays Wrecking Ball, but that
No, I meant like Team Liquid's tank player Infected was playing ball. So a lot of teams are playing Sigma to counter him. Like Nightmare did it against them to counter it on Havana.
That kid's a menace on the hamster. Like I just quit if I had to play into that, to be totally honest. Like, it's scary. It's scary to go against, and I think it worked out for some teams. I don't think Iron. I don't know if I can recall a time I've seen Iron play a Wrecking Ball. He's kind of in a similar boat with Mari that I feel like you can stick him on anything and it'll be all right. Both these rosters can.
I don't know why, but when
evenly.
I think of Iron, I think Ramatra and Sigma. I don't know why. Those are the two main heroes I think of.
Yeah, I can see it. I've seen the JQ, I've seen the Mauga. Like, it just follows the meta, and that's fine. That's what you gotta do as a tank player. You gotta know everything these days. There's no
for sure.
split two tank roles. It does seem, unless I'm actually getting baited here, we will be going to one of our more brawly type map selections, Ray. Which we will, yes. So we will be going to Shambhali's Monastery for sure. That's one more Ramattra based, probably. That's where we saw the best success on Briarcliff, is when they had that Ramattra to kind of hold down the front line. But again, the question comes, can they handle Hydron Sojourn again on these long sight lines?
Yeah, because Sojourn's, this is another good map for Sojourn. Lots of, like, it's not like a Watch Point Gibraltar, right, where you're expecting to see a lot of Ash and stuff like that, or, you know, Widow, or whatever. This is mid-range, high ground playing. This is Sojourn's playground. We're probably going to see, I mean, this is Ramatra's home map. I expect to see more of the same when it comes to compositions. I think Cosmic can still play that Genji. Jodello and Juven can pretty much play their hero play. I don't think it's going to be limiting in either way for the DPS. I just think we're going to see Ramatras.
Yeah, this is kind of the one escort map that you're like, okay, we can bring out our punchy fists again and just smack each other across the face. Which, honestly, it's a fun kind of Overwatch. There's a lot of players out there, they're like, oh, we have to play Ramatra? That's so boring. Like, oh, I think it's kind of cool with the strategies. And Ramatra's perks, too, Ray. I'm not sure how familiar you are with those, but having the opportunity for longer survivability or just to flat-out do more damage, heal yourself. Like, the utility behind this tank has only gotten better so far, and I think that's why we're seeing a lot more teams start to shift to playing this Omnic hero. As of now, will be Briarcliff starting out on the defense with pretty much the same composition that they rolled out with Lijiang Tower Night Market, the round they won, with the exception of Benji being on the brig.
I wasn't sure if Jodello was going to come out on the Pharah, especially on the defense, but I mean, I think it's a gutsy call, but I mean, if it works out, I think it's going to work out in a big way. Like, to me, Pharah Shambhali defense, it's boom or bust. It's either going to hold them for a very long time, or I think they're going to bust through pretty quickly. So I'm curious to see what it's going to be.
Yeah, Shambhali's the map, you either run through the whole thing in record time or you just get full health. Like, that's just the reality of this map, which is so weird. First Point in particular tends to land the most amount of challenges because of the amount of angles that you can play from and how narrow these hallways are. Incredibly defensively favored, and with Jodello being on this Pharah, this entire room is essentially off limits to Fissure. They have no choice other than to either push this payload or potentially try to reach up onto the high ground and hope Jodello doesn't come back to hurt him. I believe it was actually Cosmic trying to chase the Pharah, which did enough. But again, you're concerned about this Hydron on the Sojourn, who's been that main issue. You lose out on your main source of healing, and Briarcliff are again on a backpedal just because of that one player.
Yeah, again, Hydron coming through with big opening plays, and again, it felt like Jodello was flying around trying to put a lot of pressure, but could never confirm kills. Got players low, but couldn't finish it off. I mean, maybe you could say that's on Jodello, but you could also make the argument that, you know, the Briarcliff should have the pressure. I mean, you even have Juven too, who should be able to help finish off the kills, and they just weren't able to do it. Things just aren't gelling 100% right now for Briarcliff.
You gotta respect the Hydron. And even now, you'll see him in incredibly aggressive positions, using Power Slide to go forwards instead of using it as an escape tool. Like, he knows that Briarcliff are gonna let him hit the shots. He's confident in that fact and is using that confidence to his utmost advantage. You don't really have the high ground positioning. You're kind of just caught around this pale. Cosmic's the only one who can move, and yeah, no, you're not going to do that between the torpedoes and the punching fists of Bug Soup there, so not really having the Genji to help engage it leaves Fissure in a bit of a sticky position. We'll have both support ults here, should they want to engage rather quickly, which seems to be closer to the option that they'll be choosing. There you go, Orbital Ray from Kiwi on the ground. Hydron looking for a couple shots, and there you go. Benji hits the deck, trying to flank as Brig of all the heroes out there. Fissure popping a couple more ults. Not sure if he needed both the Annihilation and Overclock, but whatever gets you through this first point at the end of the day.
Legitimately, I was going to say the same thing. I'm like, I think Iron pretty much had that with the Annihilation. I don't think we needed the Overclock, but I mean, it's okay. As you mentioned, first point can be very hard to crack, and now they'll have a Blade and a Sound Barrier to help get them some early distance on the second point, because the end of second point, actually completing it, that's also a very hard sticking point to get through.
Yeah, this little high ground curve tunnel thing, however you want to describe it, it's not fun. Having to fight literally uphill when Bug Soup is going to full send it with Jodello at your backline, not a great time. Cosmic, though, making sure their defenders are not having fun as well. That's a Dragon Blade, pulls out 3. What in the world? Cosmic is just magical. He can just sit there and be neutral the whole time and then just randomly kills 4 like this.
Yeah, Cosmic is basically, you know, cosmic when it comes to they're a superstar.
Hilarious, right? Hilarious.
I had to go there, okay?
All
But
right.
now you've gotten Fisher to empty out their ult bank, so this is where Briarcliff needs to put their foot down in the ground. Juven will have an overclock, Benji will have the rally. They have no excuse to not win this fight.
Yeah, no. If Briarcliff lose this, we have other concerns. Jodello and Bug Soup, though, the health bars are not great at the start. I mean, Cosmic is still tearing it up. Again, nearly invisible within that first map, but it's all him in the kill feed. Kind of going ahead. Juven attempting to make up for it. Hides the head of Hydron just as the ultimate is about to expire. That's a great way for Briarcliff to start to stabilize and hopefully preserve this rally for a later fight.
Yeah, finally, the Hydron Sojourn was respected and found before he got a pick, so that's a great sign for Briarcliff. And now, for how long that was taken, they'll be able to match the Orbital Ray that's coming online for Fisher.
Orbital Ray here. Well, from both teams. It'll be Benji's ult popped first, trying to get a little bit early aggression. You see that Orbital Ray, though? You immediately kite. Web2 wanted to wait a little bit longer to pop it, but notice how low Benji was getting. Opted to save the Brigitte instead and absolutely bulldoze over Iron. Hydron cannot get a sightline at this point in the map, which is why we see teams, especially like Fisher, who are banking on the Sojourn to hit shots, start to struggle. Where's Annihilation?
Yeah. Legitimately, I was going to say this is where things get very hard for Fisher, and this is why it's hard. There is not a lot of angles to be able to take. You either have to go down main, or you have to get someone to flank behind, but there's just not a lot of space to work with. But as you mentioned, in an Annihilation cleanup, I don't like that, because now Iron just gets to do this for free.
Yeah, and there's a sound barrier that Greats has too. It's not looking good for Briarcliff. Jodella's blade essentially is a wet noodle against the ultimate of grapes here, so unless you're going to pull some sort of magic and force an Ajax, it's not looking too hot for the defenders. Hydron pulling the trigger alongside Iron, and yeah, just a clean sweep of damage across the board. No answers from Briarcliff, and it's slight over expenditures like that that are really going to hurt against Fisher.
Solid work.
We were praising them on that first map of Lijiang Tower for how well they were managing the ults, and now, you know, on this map it has not been as good as it needs to be for them to be able to try and upset a team with the caliber of Fisher and Jodello going down. That is not what you wanted to see. You have to completely back up if you're Briarcliff, and it's just going to be a lot of free space and a lot of free meterage for the side of Fisher.
That vortex just sucked Jodello right over that wall. He was like, oh, I can't even get back up over two. It was a wonderful play, and Fisher, they're going to get the progress and completely kite out of the way Juven's own overclock. Another tool that Briarcliff has not been able to get value out of. Now Jodello's turn, but you're fighting against an Orbital Ray and Sound Barrier combined. That's a mountain if I have ever seen it, but not one for Cosmic. Another 2K for the Dragon Blade, and Fisher Esports making quick work of Shambhali's Monastery.
Yeah, but that was 3 big-time ults that Fisher committed to that fight, and Briarcliff did the smart thing, didn't commit anything, so now they can re-engage with both their support ultimates and Mari's Annihilation, so they're going to be in a good spot for this fight.
Yeah, if you get Cosmic here, hopefully you don't have to use any ultimates at all.
Exactly.
You will be on Tracer for the time being, unless Jodello opts to go back and switch. Right now, you're just so focused on getting these cleanup kills, you're not overly concerned about it, just letting Fisher give the space they need.
And again, being able to push them back without committing any... Oh, no, Juven!
Well, you can compensate, though. This is why Bug Soup, it's important you hold on to your Annihilation, because if you lose something like that, you can immediately trade it out. So both teams are down in DPS. Nobody wants to push. That, however, is a much bigger issue. There's the vortex of Iron setting up Hydron from 2 eliminations on the side. His usage of that E ability has been incredible so far. And like, here's another one. It makes sure that Juven can't escape. It forces the overweight out of web 2 so early. This team has to get a touch in the front line, and it's just Iron beating up the supports before they can start to come in and stabilize the rest of this roster. Fisher Esports simply overwhelming in terms of the economic advantage. Hydron and Cosmic absolutely going bonkers, and now we'll give him a 20-second time bank and a full completion. Shambhali's Monastery.
For a map like Shambhali, I don't care how, dominating or how good you are as a team, it's tough to finish this map with a decent time bank. So the fact that they have time on the clock and finish it, that's a good attack for the side of Fisher, hoping to go up 2-0 in the series and not breathe any life into Briar Cliff's sails, wings, however you want to go with the wind. Briar Cliff, however, again, it feels like we see these flashes of brilliance. You get this pick, you don't have to use any ults, and you force Fisher away. And then immediately Juven gets picked, and like you said, they had the ults to compensate, but did you really want to have to do that? I feel like you're in these situations where you set yourself up so well, and then someone just makes a big mistake.
Like, it looks so good for Briarcliff. Like, at these points, they have the good positioning, the defensive holds, and then someone just topples over, or I used one too many ultimates in this fight. And it's things like that that will snowball against you. And perhaps not against teams that you're used to playing against, but someone like Fisher, who's incredibly well disciplined, who's used to playing against the best of the best, you make the slightest error, they're gonna make sure you're feeling that pain for days to come. That's kind of where the Briarcliff ended up fighting in that last point. We'll see what they're going to change heading into this next attack. Juven on the Hanzo, assuming just for a Sonic era before going back to the Soj.
Just full on mirrors for both of these teams, and Hydron already getting so aggressive, as you talked about, just completely sliding down onto the low ground and forcing his team to have to drop with them.
He's allowed to do it. Briarcliff either A, are in positions where they can get fired upon, or B, are not in positions where they can punish Hydron for this incredible aggression that he's opting to take here. Just opting to force the cart instead, Briarcliff. Not a bad idea. You do have to be conscious of where Hydron and Kiwi are playing right now. No one's entirely healthy on the side of Fisher, and dying here is much worse for the defenders since your spawns are further away. Cleanup coming through, so Fisher not sweating it all that much.
Yeah, I mean, because you basically clean up everyone, it buys time for the one pick that Briarcliff was able to get on you to get back. So, no harm, no foul in that situation. But like you mentioned, if you're Fisher, you got to be careful. Like, yes, that fight ended up working out, but if you want to just first point hold him here, you got to watch those early picks.
Vortex here early. This time Briarcliff opting to go for the high ground, not wanting Hydron to be poking them from this sort of side angle. It's more so been Cosmic too, who's getting insane amount of value out of this Genji so far with very minimal support. Usually you'll see like a Lucio or some type of Brig with the Genji, but he's been doing it all by himself for the time being, which that time it will come back to bite him. Jodello identified a lone Genji, decided to collapse on it, and those are more of the things that Briarcliff, if they want to get through Fisher's defense, identify where the players are overextending.
Yeah, but again, Fisher's just doing the smart thing. They're backing up as a team. Oh, Hydron got so low, he gets punished.
And that's after the orbital ray comes out too. A big commitment from both teams, but Briarcliff are keen on pulling through this point because this will get you the entire little uphill segment too. And as we know for first point defense, this is where a lot of teams can start to get stuck. Briarcliff pushing their way on.
I do think, however, Fisher can re-engage. They have the Annihilation. Mari used it, so that's going to be a big advantage. And they've already wasted so much time on the clock. Only a minute and a half left for Briarcliff to be able to get this. Greats, the Sound Blader, so much at Fisher's disposal.
Jodello popping the blade just before the Sound Barrier you could get to Hydron, so this is where we like to see Jodello start cooking Cosmic. No, pulls the blade out when his whole team is already dead and the point was captured. Bit of a yikes from them in the back bar. Even typing C9 in the chat. It's a little crazy. Not a C9. That was just Jodello going crazy.
That was disastrous. I mean, if you're Grapes, how are you not expecting them to get aggressive with the few ultimates they have. I feel like you should have had that sound barrier on the ready to be able to provide for your team, and it just wasn't there. I mean, for once in this series, we see a major mistake coming out of one of the players from Fisher.
And not just that, Cosmic popping the blade at a 2v5,
Yeah,
mind
that
you.
didn't help
also
either.
Also a bit questionable. I mean, he's done it before. He absolutely could be the hero in this situations, but not that time. I mean, Juven's turn to fire. Well, not anymore. Iron decided, I like the color purple, and I hope you do too, Briarcliff, because that's the last thing you will be seeing before he's sent back to spawn. Casual triple kill out of him.
Yeah, and for Briarcliff, they're in a situation they got halfway through the point, which is fine. They didn't have to commit anything, and now you can use the problem is, so you're gonna have an orbital ray, nothing on the side of Fisher. This orbital ray should win you the fight, but how much distance does it gain you? Because ideally you want to be able to cap this point, but the orbital ray itself, I mean, this fight is perfect. They're getting a team fight win without using anything. So now they get on the cart, they'll get the distance, and now they're gonna have the ability with, as the cart's rounding the final corner, Tiny, you are going to be in a situation where you can use this orbital ray to finish it off. And if it's not enough, you will have Mari's Annihilation.
Already a much better position that Briarcliff are playing from. Not physically, but in terms of the economy. It's looking healthy. Fisher don't have an answer unless, again, one of these DPS just comes up and it takes off ahead, which is not abnormal for this series so far. That's why you can't take any risk. Web 2, there's the orbital ray hitting the ground and rapes right alongside it. Good timing, waiting for Fisher to fully commit to ensure the eliminations fall through. And we're looking at a 3-minute, 20-second time bank going through the third point of Shambali.
Just to pile on more, I mean, being able to win that fight with just the orbital rays, I talked about they could have used or needed that Annihilation. They didn't, so now you got to bank that for the next fight. There will be an incoming orbital ray, so at least you have the sound barrier to sustain you, and you have, you know, more sustain if needed, plus damage from the blade and the Annihilation.
Got a lot to be able to work with here for Briarcliff. If they snowball this forwards, it'd be great, but you're likely not winning another fight off the gates after that. I mean, this time Jordello's had one heck of an attack so far, completely zoned out by Hydra, not even taking the risk, just wanting to force the ultimates out of the other side of things. Instead, it'll be Bug, Soup, and Benji, the Sound Barrier Annihilation in tandem, causing havoc for Fisher Esports. Hydron even opting to pop their own ultimate off the back of it. I'm not sure if you like to see it with how far away everyone was playing. Bug, Soup pulled out the broom there.
I agree, Tiny, but you got Briarcliff to throw in 4 ults. I think you're okay with that if you're Fisher.
Assuming you can get a good quality touch without anybody dying. Yeah, Wraith will go ahead and make sure of that. Briarcliff don't have the speed nor necessarily healing to go ahead and kite away from it. So only actually using a sound barrier to fully reset Briarcliff is huge for a Fisher getting themselves back on their feet.
Exactly. So, and we talked about the fact that Briarcliff emptied their chamber. They will be getting an orbital ray for this fight, but I think Cosmic and Iron just get aggressive in this next fight. Ideally, you'd want to be able to win this next fight with just one of these ultimates because we only have a minute and a half left on the clock, and you want to have an ultimate to try and counteract this orbital ray. Not even necessarily counteract, but try and get kills in response to.
Typically, you'll see Annihilation do a good job of it. Cosmic can also shut it down. Didn't have a great last Dragon Blade appearance, because that was a yikes, but the other ones have been great. Let's see if this time's any different. I'm sorry, Cosmic. I just cursed you. Goodbye. No Dragon Blade in sight there. Even trades, though, are much more favorable for Fisher. Iron using just the Annihilation there, too. Ghostness and drains the rest of it. Briarcliff looking healthier and healthier as we hit this last minute.
And the late stagger on to Benji. 50 seconds left on the clock. Briarcliff held on to that orbital ray, so I think it is on the onus of Briarcliff to get in there and get aggressive with these 2 ults they have, because if they don't move fast, Tiny, Kiwi will build to this orbital ray and match them.
Yeah, and Kiwi might even get it before they fully engage if there's enough poke damage taken by somebody like Iron, for example. Briarcliff, at the end of the day, can force this tempo whenever they choose to do so. WebTube with the main Q button in their hands when they decide to pull it. Another question, it's gonna go for it now, and it just down Kiwi just before the orbital ray was online. The best pick that Briarcliff could have asked for. That's a full completion and only 8 seconds separating these 2 teams.
And as I talked about with how the last control point went on Lijiang Tower, if you're Briarcliff, you're like, man, if we just, fix this here, fix that there, we were in that map, even with Fisher on all of their comfortable picks. So I think this shows it. Fisher only has an 8-second advantage on them time bank wise. And, despite how we are kind of like yikesing at certain points on that defense from Briarcliff, they came back on the attack and punched him just as hard in the face.
Fisher had their fair share of yikes too. Let's not mistake that. I think.
Yeah, for sure.
What it comes down to is, honestly, Ray, I think these two teams, in terms of mechanical skill, are relatively even on it. And when you have such equality in, like, your mechanics and how you're getting value out of things, it comes down to the mistakes and how you're playing as a macro, as a team. And the mistakes have been the shining point of this, because even something super small is blown up because these teams can identify where that error is and continue to exploit it. That's how both of these attacks got so snowbally. They got so far. Not an easy map to go ahead and complete, so only having a minute here, the same type of momentum is going to be needed from Briarcliff if they want to work their way past Fisher again.
I would say the one thing is you might favor Fisher slightly more in this situation because they were able to work their way through first point faster. Briarcliff was able to work their way through second and third point, but Fisher got first point extremely quickly compared to Briarcliff.
Yeah, Briarcliff did get stuck up on this point, deciding whether to push the height and clear the angles and just kind of go off the back. Did actually get it because of an overextension of Cosmic before. I guarantee you Fisher are going to be playing a lot safer. We saw the peel from Grapes. It was actually Jodello who decided to get pretty aggressive on this back line, on these supports. So Fisher meeting the full 5 with the full 5 is a much better solution, because then Cosmic can start to find the cracks in the armor and go ahead and chuck a couple shurikens in there.
Yeah, one more crack at it. Neither team's going to really get to any ultimates, so it's just going to be about, if you're Briarcliff, you have to get these players off of the high ground. They attempted, wasn't able to do it that time, but they can't let Hydron have these high ground angles.
No, but right now, you don't really have a choice. This payload is your #1 priority with overtime starting, and you're fighting at an up arrow batter. Hydron has all the sightlines that he could possibly ask for right now. Not really any ultimates coming close. Has to be fully neutral one, and so far, Fisher have looked better in these situations than not, and it's because of the impact Cosmic is able to have alongside Grapes. These two incredibly aggressive when it comes to forcing these backlines apart. Doesn't have much care for their life because he's confident in the value of his own damage. This point is getting stalled out a decent amount. Webtoon just short of an orbital ray, but you have neither DPS to back it up right now. What can Briarcliff get done with this tool? And right now it seems their goal is to burn down Iron. Very low in terms of the health bar, and it's Bug Soup to grab the final blow. It was looking grim there, Ray, but it seems Briarcliff got a lifeline to pull on.
Yeah, huge. They had a good 20% advantage on Kiwi with that orbital array build, and it's mostly because they were taking so much damage and Kiwi was able to heal a lot more in that situation. We see Jodello, who's now swapped over to the Thera, so a lot more ults on the side of Fisher because of those swaps and already the orbital array use, so Fisher could just dump and win at this point.
And you could, but it's all about timing here, especially with Briarcliff. Benji Sound Barrier is your most important tool that you can pull out. It has to be properly timed and hit the whole team, both of which will happen. Fisher, many more shiny buttons on their side, and with the earlier Sound Barrier there, they got more of that health damage in, and Iron will make sure the rest will crumble at his feet. Just short of first point. That's the mark Briarcliff. We're going to go ahead and set.
WedTube gets the MVP for that one.
Yeah.
They would have gotten way less distance on that cart if it was not for getting that orbital array earlier. The cart would have been stuck at that first corner, but they're able to get all the way basically to the final turn of the cart and give themselves a chance to win this map, because if they got stuck at that first corner, Tiny, no way do they win that. Now they got the cart in a position where it's winnable.
You're putting Fisher to, you got to win 2, potentially 3 fights, depending on when they end up taking place. Briarcliff only really had to win 1 there just because of the overtime being active, and the spawns were a lot farther for Fisher in that sense, but it's only an 8-second difference. Like, 68 seconds to 60 really isn't that much in the grand scheme of things here. Fisher essentially are on an even playing field. It's more so how tight can Briarcliff keep themselves and prevent Cosmic from tearing up the backline like he's been doing in these past couple rounds.
We're about to find out. Briarcliff hoping to bring this series to a 1-1 as Fisher wanting to go up 2-0 and not give any kind of, you know, positive energy heading into this series. They just want to make this quick and easy, but Briarcliff has been nothing but that.
No, Briarcliff, a team that many have underestimated. I think Fisher are in that same boat, to be entirely honest. Yeah, you're getting good plays out of Cosmic, Hydron, and Iron. Sure, that's nothing to scoff at, but not near the amount of dominance that we're used to seeing from this Fisher team. We'll manage to get the payload to the first corner without too much hurt being dealt, but this wraparound from Iron, a little bit sneaky. Benji caught off guard here and has to run for their own life. Opting to kind of flip the map, not risking any final blows being dealt. Problem is you don't have high ground anymore, and that's not ideal for somebody like Bug Soup, who has to face the wrath of Hydron head on, constantly looking to farm up on these rail shots, whereas Cosmic chopped down Juven in the backline. Again, wonderful support from both that speed ring to get Cosmic there in the first place, but also their own execution of this Genji.
And because of how that fight went down and where it ended up stopping, it's only one final fight for both of these teams to see who's going to win here. And the ult charges are pretty even. I mean, instead of a 20% ult charge difference, Kiwi only has a 10, so I really don't think it's going to matter. But Hydron, extreme advantage in the overclock ult charge.
Yeah, the Fisher are going to get a lot closer to these ultimates. The only thing you can really hope for is Benji's sound barrier to kind of come in and save the day, but they got to stay alive to do that first. Payload not in a favorable position for the attackers, though. You can't get the sight lines, but Hydron still manages to get the head of Jodello. The sound barrier for Grapes is out first. Fisher got their little taste of victory, and now they want even more of it, surging forward with their five-fingered punch of shiny buttons, and that will go ahead and give them a very close second map. Now one map away from winning their third game of the season.
Fisher, when the pressure's on, when the metal needed to meet the road, when their backs are against the wall, they come through. Just what you expect out of a top 5 collegiate program. But Briarcliff is giving them everything they can handle and more, Tiny.
Fisher won this, yes, but my goodness, did it take a lot out of this team to make it happen. Like, the fights that were won were the times that we just saw absolute pop-off performances from Hydron and Cosmic for the most part, and Hydron still was able to set the tempo for most of that. It shows, though, that Fisher can bleed. Briarcliff can make them go to a single final fight on several of these objectives, right? Like, I wouldn't be shocked if this isn't a sweep after all, if Briarcliff can continue this positive run, but you're going to have to start it soon, because you are now down 2-0, and Fisher getting more confident by the second.
Yeah, all right, folks. As you can see, it is a 2-0 in favor of Fisher, but it has been a close one. We're going to take a quick break, give Briarcliff a chance to maybe take a breath, refocus, and hopefully start the reverse sweep. Don't go anywhere. Grab a drink, grab a snack, because we'll be right back.
What do you make of this up here? Just showed up in the yard a couple days ago.
Dog been digging in here?
I don't think so, dude. That goes way down in there. Seriously, did you just lose your meat stick?
Yeah.
Oh, no. There's something in there, dude. Just leave it.
Are you kidding me?
We'll just head to us. Just leave it.
The hell with that.
Oh, yeah, there's something in there.
Want one?
Thank you.
It was worth it.
Oh, man, this is incredible.
Oh, wow.
Huh?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. Hey, man, grab me a meat stick. I think I can reach it if I just a little more. Just let me go a little. I can't. Just a little more. I almost got it. Careful! Oh, God. No. Come on, just reach. Reach. Just grab my hand. I can't hold it. Grab my hand.
Give me the meat stick. This other hand's closer. The one with the stick is... Oh! What am I supposed to say?
It doesn't matter. He's dead. He ain't listening to you anyway.
I'm hungry.
No. Put it away. I can't watch it. Oh, crap. Just reach in. You gotta pull it. Just grab it. Just take it out of his hand. What do you mean you can't?
He won't let go.
What do you mean he won't let go? He's dead.
Help me. Get in there. No, just hold on.
Make him let go of it. No, I got you. Just go in for a hug. Go and get on in there. It's a bad loss. Yeah, hug him up. Just reach. Hug him up.
He's breathing. On the other side.
Go.
I can't.
Just-
I can't do it. Help!
Help me, Lord. Help me get over this loss.
I can't breathe.
Yeah, I can't breathe. I'm so upset. I can't breathe. Stop. You knock on wood so they go to heaven. It's like a lucky. Hey, get the stick.
Yeah,
Hey, do you the meat stick?
yeah, I got it.
Hey, just hold tight for a second. They're moving the casket. Just hold tight.
Yeah, that's no worries. I got it.
Oh, what an awesome day for a pump, dude.
Yeah, I gotta take it easy. Doc says if I exert myself, I will die.
You overexert yourself, you will die.
I'll tell you what. You finish the workout, all these could be yours. That looks good. A little bit of honey ham for the ham. Get after it, and that's your get after it, and that's your treat. Do the exercise, do the work, then you get the reward. That's how this works, man. You gotta give it max effort, maximum effort. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Big hams. Make it work, those hams. Work 'em. Putting in the work. Yeah, baby. Yes. Dude, this is a spicy workout. Gotta make it worth it. Building the beef and bringing home the bacon, baby. I'm loving it. Teriyaki is just about within your reach. Come on, get you some. Come on. Ooh, ooh. Maximum effort. Maximum effort. You're there. You're almost there.
That's probably worth it.
And welcome back to Briarcliff versus Fisher Esports main roster. My goodness, Ray. Fisher Esports 2-0 lead so far, but they have had to fight for it. Briarcliff have now put each of our maps down to one single fight, which is a crazy feat to do against a Fisher team, such as this caliber. You mentioned at the beginning that this is Fisher's fight to stay with along those top teams, whereas Briarcliff, they're not pushing the limits to see how far they can punch up.
As it's all coming down to Esperanza as the map pick came in for Coliseo for the side of Fisher. So for these teams, as we talked about, Fisher wanting to make this a nice, easy 3. I mean, we wouldn't call this easy, but they just want this to be over with. They don't want to go into any extra maps, give Briarcliff any hope. For Briarcliff, the reverse sweep starts now. Lijiang was close, but Shambali was even closer. You guys have the skills, have the forethought, have the ability to make this a series and possibly win.
Jodello in particular stood out for Briarcliff on that past match. Their Genji play was making waves out there for this team, but same goes for Fisher, Cosmic, Hydron. Still major issues for this team if you are not properly taking care of them, putting your mark on them. Iron 2 helping his team succeed in the best possible way that you can with Ramatra. The Vortexes have been on point. Kiwi and Grapes are staying alive and making sure everyone's in position on time. Fisher Esports, it's not new. They're a well-oiled machine, and Briarcliff, see how many gears that they can break off before that machine starts to fail. And while it's gotten closer, these past 2 maps, you only got one more shot to see if the Chargers can take a map off of our current number 3 ranked power team.
As we see the compositions coming in for both of these teams, no surprise from Fisher, keeping things nice and simple, not trying to change things up. They've been doing well with Iron on the Ramatra. For the side of Briarcliff, this is where things get very interesting because we have Seaful in on the tank playing the Hazard.
And that is shocking to me, because I am so used to seeing Mari play in these series. She's so good at every single tank we've seen so far, and Seaful, a name I'm not entirely familiar with, but clearly Briarcliff are confident in their ability to perform, and I want to see where this can go. Hazard is a hero who's seen a little bit less playtime with the prevalence of other dive tanks, but going in at 30 HP against Hydron would be risky unless you have Benji and Jodello to back you up. Whew, Briarcliff, I like this look of them, playing a faster type of game and full-on throwing out more of this dive style that seems to be working out at least at the start of this map. Spots Kiwi low in the backline. Fortunately, Jagged Wall doesn't land where you want it to, but the spikes will go ahead and do the job on Cosmic and Iron.
Question for me is this going to spark changes for Fisher? Like, do they like the Ramatra matchup into the Hazard? Doesn't look like they're going to swap anything up. It seems they feel comfortable. The Ramatra is going to have a lot of sustain. You just have to make sure you position yourself well and don't allow, like Hydron, for example, to get dove on very early like that.
Yeah, Hydron, I think part of the reason for playing this Hazard is that you can close that gap much easier. It negates the value that Hydron has. Again, Jagged Wall put to the back. Seaful leaping in to slice him down. Wonderful showcase from Briarcliff's new tank players so far, and I want to see where this continues to go, because Fisher Esports have not been able to push forwards whatsoever, and it might just end up giving up the checkpoint. Yeah, they will.
Yeah, a huge deal. Not even 2 minutes in to have the forward spawns already unlocked. Benji has a sound barrier. Fisher is just on the back foot. They have not been able to find any kind of angle on this map so far.
No, not at all. And this is just in full Briarcliff right now in the kill feed. Fisher starting to get some ults online, but it's really not going to matter if this downpour strikes 2 players. Hydron non-existent in this map so far, all thanks to Seaful's Hazard.
Yeah, Seaful on this Hazard has just basically had, you know, we got the new hero coming us who's a bounty hunter. He's like, this Hazard of Seaful's has a bounty out for Hydron and is cashing in every fight.
No, it's looking great. And the space that has been bought, Iron, I don't even think I've seen Iron walk into Briarcliff once so far this game until now. And it took the orbital ray at his back to make it happen. And it will force all of these eliminations to come through, even trade of ultimates, but this is a large chunk of distance to have to give up in just the first 3 minutes.
Yeah, the one thing is you did get the orbital ray response, so you're able to trade that and still win the fight if you're Fisher, so you're able to use these next 4. The problem is I think these next couple fights are going to be very important for Fisher. You got to be able to use these ults judiciously while still drawing out Briarcliff's ults and getting a lot of cart distance to match them. Like, I feel like at this point you need to get the forward spawns quickly.
You gotta win this fight, and ideally a second one after it if it doesn't go fast enough. That's a great start, though. Annihilation comes out before the sound barrier, and Jodello posed the blade incredibly late into that fight. And so Fisher, yeah, you go ahead and take it. 3 ults, and you're 1 step closer to the checkpoint.
And you put it in a spot where it's basically a 1v1 for the next fight, Juven versus Hydron with the overclocks. Hydron has been more consistent throughout the series, but this map specifically, Juven's had a little bit of an edge. Hydron, like we said, been a little quiet this map.
No, he's not allowed to play the game. Like, that's Seaful's entire existence right now. Is Hydron is your main dive target. He's the least mobile player on their team, even has a pretty mobile character. The one good thing for Fisher, though, is they do get this checkpoint. Briarcliff opts not to go for a contest and completely respect Hydron's current position on the high ground.
When you're playing the hazard composition, it's all about looking for those opportune dives and positioning yourself well. So being patient and really capitalizing is smart.
Well, patience is not the name of the game for Fisher. They're getting right on in there. Briarcliff taking a while to go ahead and engage themselves. So Fisher said, okay, that's fine. We'll go ahead and pop an overclock.
Felt like Fisher's like, you're not going to come to us? All right, we'll come to you. So they end up playing that very well. Briarcliff still has this overclock to work with, and they got up to the downpour. But in the meantime, Kiwi built up to this orbital raid much, much faster. So great counteracting tool.
It's looking good, but Ruben, he popped the overclock there, and that gets shut down. Hydron, again, being allowed to play the game now that Seafool hasn't been able to get themselves back in this fight. Fisher Esports, they're throwing us with a serious whiplash right now. They just got 110 meters uncontested.
In the blink of an eye, they flipped this map on its head. That is the beauty and power of push. And they got the 2-for-1 trade with the orbital raid for the downpour and overclock. Huge.
This is just Fisher clapping back like, all right, we can go down, but this is a team that will learn from their mistakes. You're no longer having Seafool fully run the tempo of this lobby, and without that, Briarcliff haven't had a way to buy themselves into a fight. An orbital raid from WebTube will open a couple of doors for them. They're being so patient and how they're being used. Iron has this annihilation, and I'm pretty sure they're aware of it. Fisher don't want to lose this without forcing ultimates, though, so, I mean, Iron's going to keep going in, use the annihilation, hoping for a response, but Briarcliff are only going to fall for the bait a little bit too late, but no! It gets shut down, and Ajax out of Benji! Cosmic just pulls another Dragon Blade out, it's a triple! Briarcliff, that was their fight to win, and now their map, their series to lose! This turned around in the blink of an eye! Fisher Esports full cap, and will sweep the series 3-0!
I just feel like I've been on the weirdest, craziest journey, Tiny. Like, Briarcliff is just dominating on this hazard. It is insane. Get 108 meters. And then just like that, it's just like, all right, flip switch, adjustments made, comes in, and then just never gets the card again for Briarcliff. They just have full control and fully cap the point. That was insane work from Fisher.
Holy whiplash, man. What was that map? That has got to be one of the strangest maps of push that I have ever casted, because we were like, what, barely 5 minutes through that whole thing. Both teams had almost entirely capped the map at that point. Because there's a full run from Briarcliff, full run from Fisher, and suddenly, oh, Fisher, we're down 2 players. That's okay. We'll force ult and go next fight. Cosmic said, nah, I'm going to slice 3 people in half with my Dragon Blade, and they just walk it home. And, oh, that was nuts. What a way for Fisher to close that out. And honestly, Ray, I think they needed something like that, considering how close the rest of the series was. You want to keep yourself known as one of the top teams. Somebody like Briarcliff needs to be sent the message of, hey, you're still on the up and coming, but you're not there quite yet.
So I agree. I think Briarcliff had a good showing, all things considered. But what this series also told me was, to me, it wasn't that surprising that they lost to BSC 3-0. Like, they don't look as dominant as we're used to seeing for Fisher. So it's not surprising to me that a team on the rise like BSC trying to break into that top 5 was able to find their way in there and win that. So I think Collegiate is shaping to be great this semester. I can't wait for us. We're going to take about let me check the clock, about a 45-minute break or so. At 9 Eastern? Yeah,
yep,
at 9 Eastern, we will be going live with the UCI versus CSULB Battle of California game. So make sure to come back then, and we'll see you then.
Oh, what an awesome day for a pump, dude.
Yeah, I gotta take it easy. Doc says if I exert myself, I will die.
You overexert yourself, you will die.
I'll tell you what, you finish the workout, all these could be yours. That looks good. A little bit of honey ham for the ham. Get after it, and that's your, nope, get after it, and that's your treat. Stay, do the exercise, do the work, then you get the reward. That's how this works, man. You gotta give it max effort, maximum effort. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Big hams. Make it work, those hams. Work 'em. Putting in the work. Yeah, baby. Yes. Dude, this is a spicy workout. Gotta make it worth it. Building the beef and bringing home the bacon, baby. I'm loving it. Teriyaki is just about within your reach. Come on, get you some. Come on. Ooh, ooh. Maximum effort. Maximum effort. You're there. You're almost there.
That's so worth it.
What do you make of this up here? Just showed up in the yard a couple days ago.
Dog been digging in here?
I don't think so, dude. That goes way down in there. Seriously, did you just lose your meat stick?
Yeah.
Oh, no. There's something in there, dude. Just leave it.
Are you kidding me?
We'll just head to the house. Just leave it.
The hell with that.
Oh, yeah, there's something in there. Ah!
Want one?
Thank you.
It was worth it.
Oh, man, this is incredible.
Oh, wow.
Huh?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. Hey, man, grab me a meat stick. I think I can reach it if I just a little more. Just let me go a little. I can't. Just a little more. I almost got it. Careful! Oh, God. No. Come on, just reach. Reach. Just grab my hand. I can't hold it. Grab my hand.
Give me the meat stick. This other hand's closer. Stick is. Oh. What am I supposed to say?
It doesn't matter. He's dead. He ain't listening to you anyway.
I'm hungry.
No. Put it away. I can't put it. Oh, crap. Just reach in. You gotta pull it. Just grab it. Just take it out of his hand. You just can't. What do you mean you can't?
He won't let go.
What do you mean he won't let go? He's dead.
Help me. Get in there. No, just hold on.
Make him let go of it. No, I got you covered. Just go in for a hug. Go and get on in there. It's a bad loss. Yeah, hug him up. Just reach. Hug him up.
He's breathing.
From the other side.
Go.
I can't.
Just-
I can't do it. Help!
Help me, Lord. Help me get over this loss.
I can't breathe.
Hey, I can't breathe. I'm so upset. I can't breathe. Stop. You knock on wood so they go to heaven. It's like a lucky. Hey, get the stick.
Yeah,
Hey, did you get the meat stick?
yeah, I got it.
Hey, just hold tight for a second. They're moving the casket. Just hold tight.
Yeah, that's no worries. I got it.
Oh, what an awesome day for a pump, dude.
Yeah, I gotta take it easy. Doc says if I exert myself, I will die.
You overexert yourself, you will die.
I'll tell you what. You finish the workout, all these could be yours. That looks good. A little bit of honey ham for the ham. Get after it, and that's your get after it, and that's your treat. Do the exercise, do the work, then you get the reward. That's how this works, man. You gotta give it max effort, maximum effort. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Big hams. Make it work, those hams. Work 'em. Putting in the work. Yeah, baby. Yes. Dude, this is a spicy workout. Gotta make it worth it. Building the beef and bringing home the bacon, baby. I'm loving it. Teriyaki is just about within your reach. Come on, get you some. Come on. Ooh, ooh. Maximum effort. Maximum effort. You're there. You're almost there.
That's so worth it.
wish we stayed the same. I got way too many thoughts in my brain, but I got memories that run through my veins. I'm not one to blame, but I could point out every way that you changed. Some things stay up while others go right down the drain. And lately we've been going down in flames. But if I'm honest, I get in my feels when I want you. Say you feel it too, I'll haunt you. Hold on till I'm lost in nirvana. But if I'm honest, I get in my feels when I want you. Say you feel it too, I'll haunt you. Hold on till I'm lost in nirvana. But if I'm my therapist is saying that I should. I don't believe her, but I really wish I could. Instead, I guess I'll stay misunderstood. Oh, 'cause I'm stuck now, just trying to figure a way out. I've tried but can't seem to slow down, and I don't know if I want to. But if I'm honest, I get in my feels when I want you. Say you feel it too, I'll haunt you. Hold on till I'm lost in nirvana. But if I'm honest, I get in my feels when I want you. Say you feel it too, I'll haunt you. Hold on till I'm lost in nirvana. But if I'm seem to slow down, and I don't know if I want to. 'Cause I'm stuck now, just trying to figure a way out. I've tried but can't seem to slow down, and I don't know if I want to. Colder when you're frozen over like I am. It's colder, colder when I'm older, older than I am. And I know you know that I have lost composure, but I'll hold you closer while I can. I never told you that I'm slightly broken, that I might lose focus when I am. I know you know that life gets colder, colder when you're frozen over like I am.
I stand back and I watch you explore in perfect visions like I've been here before. Falling faster, I try to ignore. I see you, I see you. I'll let you drag me to hell if you hold my hand. Tell me this is real and it will never end. This is not what I came here to find. Memories show that I'm out of time. See a shadow, don't know if it's mine, but I see you, I see you, I see you, I see you. urgency has me wondering. Thought that I had figured it out, nothing could get through to me, but this kind of chemistry has me wondering. When you're not around it, all goes black and white. How come I'm not seeing in color? Lost without you, I can't make it through the night. How come I'm not seeing in color? How come I'm not seeing in color? So far gone. Go on myself. I'm cold steel stainless. My glass half full. Always said don't suffer no fools. Serpents daydream. I bite, you call me lovely. Got a sweet tooth. Gonna get the sugar from you. When they say I'm a machine gun, I take it as a compliment. Honey, you should know I can be a weapon. too many faces in the crowd, but I think that I see you. One too many days got me changing up the way that I need you. Now we're both at a bar, acting like it's not hard, trying to feel something different. Talk to somebody new, kinda wish it was you, kinda numb to the feeling. Now that you're gone, they say time should heal, but it's been too long. Couple months and I can't seem to move on. I can't seem to move on. I can't seem to. I can't seem to. Now that you're gone, I can't seem to. I can't seem to. Laying on my floor, thinking about all the things that we've been through. From 24/7 to pretending like I never met you. No, it's all for the best, cause I know we're a mess every time we're together. Going out of my mind, and I wish I could lie, tell you that it gets better. Now that you're gone, they say time should heal, but it's been too long. Couple months where I can't seem to move on. I can't seem to move on. I can't seem to. I can't seem to. I can't seem to. Now that you're gone, they say time should heal, but it's been too long. Couple months and I can't seem to move on. I can't seem to move on. I can't seem to. Baby, I just wanna be alone. I don't need your company, stop blowing up my phone. You don't get the things that I've been through, and I don't have the time to lay it all in front of you. And you think that you wanna save me. You don't know it, baby, why you do this? I got this under control. You think you do, but you really don't know that I don't need a savior. You can't be my savior. I'll save myself. I'll save myself. No, I don't need a savior. You can't be my savior. I'll save myself. I'll save myself. I'll save Baby, I just wanna be alone. I don't need your company, stop blowing up my phone. You don't get the things that I've been through, and I don't have the time to lay it all in front of you. And you think that you wanna save me. You don't know it, baby, why you do this? I got this under control. You think you do, but you really don't know that I don't need a savior. You can't be my savior. I'll save myself. I'll save myself. No, I don't need a savior. You can't be my savior. I'll save myself. I'll save myself.
Again, why does it feel so hard to breathe? Why does it feel so hard to breathe? So hard to breathe. Never found, but these voices bring me to my knees. Again, why do you waste your light on me? Again, feeling the ground collapse on me.
I used to view you as a mountain that I couldn't climb at first. But I've only stumbled over diamonds, and I no longer fear the worst.
We've got a battle for California on our hands as we look ahead to our second Division 1 matchup of the evening. California State Long Beach takes on UC Irvine for the fourth week, of the NECC season. And this is a great match for several reasons, Ray. Not only do you have UCI, a team who has been always hovering within these top 6 or 7-ish teams, but you also have a CSULB who's coming up there and fighting UCI for this top title in California.
Yeah, I believe in last rankings, they were one of the first teams out of the top 20. So they were hovering just right outside getting into the big collegiate rankings. But before we dive in a little bit more into the series, I want to talk to you guys about Wenzel's Farm Snack Sticks. Fuel your game with Wenzel's Farm Snack Sticks. No mess, no distractions, just bold, protein-packed flavor to keep you locked in. Whether you're grinding ranked or leading the squad, Wenzel's keeps you powered up. Grab a stick, stay in the game, crush the competition.
Making me hungry, I can tell you that right. I won't lie, between our break there, I did get myself a little bit of the snack, and you might want to grab some too, especially if you got Wetzel's Meat Stick on hand. That will be perfect for our first series. We got to put it out there, though, Ray, that UCI are the clear favorites of this match. California Long Beach here had a great series last week, ended up taking a Mizzou to a Game 5, something very few teams have been able to do, which is where really we got their first taste of like, all right, this team can start to punch up. UCI, though, they're on a different level, and we are currently in a Wrecking Ball-centric meta. And you know who UCI have on their team? None other than our resident Wrecking Ball expert in collegiate, other than Infected. We got ourselves Rhino.
Yeah, as we mentioned, taking Mizzou to map 5, Mizzou tends to hover around, 10 to 20, depending on, how well they're doing. So UCI, anywhere from 7, they tend to be around like 8 to 5, 6, somewhere around there. It's a big step up for CSULB. But I have heard in some of the collegiate lands they've been doing in the California schools that CSU has been like the closest one to beat. Not that they beat UCI, but they give them the most run for their money. So we'll have to see how that goes today. But as we kind of talked about in the first series, especially with no hero bans, Wrecking Ball being very good, the question is, do we see some Sigma out of Boltaro, who we've talked about? Sigma, great counter to try and shut down the Wrecking Ball.
I am interested to see if that is in Boltaro's
Sombra
hero
too.
pool.
That was
Yeah.
another thing about Nightmare that I'm thinking about it, is because Lethal had the ability to play hit scam, but swap over to Sombra to help shut down the Wrecking Ball. So if they have that at their disposal, they can shut down Rhino.
There are options to it. CSULB also played against Mizzou, who's known for Pella, another one of the 3 great Wrecking Balls in Collegiate. You got Pella, you got Rhino, and you got Infected. So out of those 3, this is the second one that CSULB are going to find themselves placing off against. Granted, though, this time it is on Lijiang Tower, a very good map for our little rodent friend. I don't think he's going to be too friendly for CSULB. Boltaro did play a decent amount of Orisa last week. The CC of that can help keep a Wrecking Ball away from your backline, but overall, you're not going to kill the hamster. 9 times out of 10, especially with how survivable that hero is on its own with the addition of the perks here, the focus has to be turned to the remaining members of those teams, especially people like KHD and XCal playing Ana and Sojourn to start potentially.
Yeah, so this is no surprise coming out of UCI seeing the Wrecking Ball, but taking a look at CSU LB, they're going to go with more of a Junker Queen, not Junkenstein. It's not October yet, folks. Junker Queen, ground and pound composition. So the issue is going to be, you're going to have to ignore the Wrecking Ball and get on top of these support / DPS.
Moving through the chaos is what's gonna happen. Rhino won't fully commit until he sees a good window to do so, but it's not even really needed. Boltaro just base takes all of the damage that XCal and Psy had to offer. The insane amount of poke between these 2 DPS heroes is way too much for a Junker Queen to handle.
Yeah, I mean, XCal, very talented Sojourn player, but this chaotic Wrecking Ball where, again, as I talk about, you have to ignore the Wrecking Ball, but that's not so easy when they're rolling through your team. You're just trying to ignore them to get to the back line.
You kind of get hashtag over to the point. There's a pile drive from Rhino. I believe a rail shot from XCal actually kind of came in there, took most of the health away. Like, California State Long Beach, this is the main struggle you're going to face over the map, is how do you get your Junker Queen in range to be impactful? Because right now, you are fully at Rhino and UCI's mercy.
Yeah, because if you can get on top of KHD or Psy or XCal, you have a chance, but the question is getting there, and they haven't been able to so far.
UCI are doing an excellent job of identifying the rotations that California State Long Beach have been making and meeting themselves there. Whether it's a pile drive from Rhino, and maybe throwing out a disruptor shot, the tourist placement out of side, there's a lot of ways that you can kind of prevent them from getting close. Like even Quaver there, you can tell they were thinking about dashing in onto side, but ended up waiting until now, just a sliver of health left, and will manage to get out with their life. Good execution, the first elimination for CSULB is on the board. You're going to need more than that. The rest of the team hasn't really been able to stabilize as a result. XCal is living his best life out here with a nano boost, takes care of Boltaro, and just another one add to the pile of bodies for UCI.
Yeah, this is the dominance we kind of expected out of a top collegiate program like UCI. This Wrecking Ball composition is just so potent, so dangerous. We haven't even been able to see an ult come out from the side of CSU, and they're only, with the percentage ticking up, they're only going to get one more crack at this before it's at 100.
Oh, and it's not going to be... Oh, wait, Rhino's just off the map. Okay, perhaps CSULB have an opportunity at their hands, but what can you make of it? There's 3 ults, 4 once Rhino gets back online for the defenders, and yeah, not even going to take the defend part of that, opting just to forfeit the objective and give Doomhair a beautiful stick onto Otters, floated into KHD and CSULB suddenly in this match.
Yeah, Doomhair's been a big standout for the side of CSU over these last couple of weeks. Getting the stick, increasing this percentage. I mean, to be fair, Rhino did spot them a free point flip, but they're taking advantage and making things work. They just got to keep this going.
And they're trying to deny Rhino's pile drives into the backline. The boop certainly helps, but you just gotta ignore them. You gotta take the initiative here. Beautiful nade out of KHD, lands onto 3 members. It's a sound barrier, huge cushion of the damage. Quaver gets plenty of value out of the Dragon Blade.
Yeah, and again, they're able to win the fight with just good positioning and one single ult commit. We're going to continue to see that. They'll have both their support ultimates, and this orbital ray should be enough on its own. No sound barrier. I see you either do that or you do the Junker Queen ult.
But the big thing here is you cannot overcommit this. You choose one or the
Ooh,
other.
Otter's
Otherwise,
Fury, though.
CSULB are in trouble, and you're even doing more of it. Now inside, getting that first elimination. Minefields at the feet of hashtag. The sound barrier wasn't even an option for CSULB. Gotta hope that this orbital ray is enough to help this team survive. But with Rhino turning himself into a wrecking ball, quite literally, the options are looking thin for CSULB. Had a nice little stint of recovery there. Looked great. Once they got the ball rolling, or rather stopped it, for better terms there, UCI had the better ult bank coming into this. Rhino is still a problem that is yet to be dealt with, and fighting in an overtime scenario isn't going to be an easy task for them whatsoever. Hashtag sound barrier bought them a little bit of extra time into it, but with Otters being back, the extra damage of the Kiriko and the constant improving health bar out of Rhino, not too much of a chance for another flip. UCI take it.
UCI off to a great start. This wrecking ball composition is looking in top perform. I mean, outside of the one mistake of falling off the map, Rhino's been playing fantastic. Their rollouts have been very good, and they are just being a disruptor like you should be on this wrecking ball. I think if you're CSU, this Junker Queen, it ain't gonna work. You just cannot get the space needed to get on top of these players. They tried, and Rhino just kept disrupting them. So we do see Boltaro currently highlighting the hazard, which I think better opportunity, ability to be able to dive, get on these supports, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. I still think you might need that Sombra to shut down Rhino.
And Sombra, though, isn't going to do too much if it's fighting into a Torb Sim. So the one thing that UCI are also doing very well is their peeling. Like having things like a sleep dart. 4 turrets that you have at your disposal. Like, even if you do get close enough to this backline, what are you going to do? There's so many different things that are shooting at you that Rhino, honestly, is the least of their concerns.
Yeah, now this map, especially sticking to the Sim, not even going over to the Sojourn, so it's going to make things that much tougher. So much mobility for UCI to work with. Plus, if anyone wants to break away and try and, make a break for the point, you can have turrets defending it and defending any, flanks that you go on.
Trying to see now what we can do. Rhino get a bit of a nuisance rolling around there. Does have the perk that deals double damage to tanks on roll-throughs, which I'm sure Boltaro has been feeling the pain of so far, and so's the rest of CSULB. Can't really break through a lot of these turrets that are set up, so getting to the point is almost a death sentence, especially with the little wall turret action that Sai's got going on. Ceiling turret, my bad.
Well, now it's a ceiling turret. It was a wall turret, so what well called out. He just decided to change things up and put it on the ceiling. So, again, great use of the perks as you're talking about. Getting that extra roll-in damage on the tanks is huge, and it's just been such a brilliant. Quaver's going to go down for the trouble.
You think you're safe until you see Rhino just hanging from the ceiling like a disco ball. And you're like, ooh, it's a party. No, it's not. Not a fun party that you want to be at. UCI have staggered this out really well. And, Ray, you're coming into this with a couple of ultimates that you could use. KHD in particular, having this nano to not only help stabilize, but even keep themselves alive should it be needed.
Need
right
it.
now,
Quaver's
you don't.
down.
Yeah, you deal with one problem, then, hey, suddenly the next ones are going to fall right alongside it. UCI taking great initiative in this fight.
And by the time the next fight breaks out, as these staggers are coming in, we're going to be closer to 85%. Last chance for CSU to keep their hopes alive on this map of Lijiang Tower. They did get the nano out, so they're not going to have to deal with that anymore. So we're basically in a situation where we're 4v4 with the ultimates, but man, this shield can do a lot.
Yeah, the shield's there. Hashtag had to try to get a touch. I mean, someone has to get there. The team will, but you're met with lava, minefields, every single zoning tool you could ask for. At least you don't have to worry about the ceiling turret of Sai. I guess that's something. Otters is hunting for picks along the outside of the map, though, and will deny any further touch. UCI, clean sweep of Lijiang Tower to start off the series.
Yeah, unfortunately for Long Beach, that map was not close to this wrecking ball composition. They just do not have an answer for it. The Torb Sim, especially on a map like Night Market, went absolutely sicko mode. And I think, we've seen them try the wrecking ball. We've seen them try the hazard. It just hasn't been working out. As I mentioned, the main, ways they've been trying to tell teams who are playing wrecking ball, get off wrecking ball, Sigma and Sombra, the two of those together. And I don't know if that's in CSU's wheelhouse. I don't know. I haven't seen enough of them to know exactly what hero pools all their players play, but I feel like if you don't shut down this composition for ISU, they're just going to roll. This is going to be an easy 3-0 for them.
It's pretty nasty what we're looking at from UCI. It's to be expected. You see UCI in a Wrecking Ball meta with freaking Rhino on their team, and not to mention the flexibility of Xcal and Psy certainly seems endless. KHD is holding it down on the Ana. Otters loves playing Lucio any chance that they get to, so this is just a dream for UCI to be able to play in this meta. Unfortunately for CSULB, you are at the mercy of your opponent. And normally I'd say, okay, this didn't work out. Maybe you should try to play something that's more towards your comfort. I don't think that's an option here. At this point, you need to figure out how you can counter out your opponent, because otherwise you are going to continue to get steamrolled like this. Rhino is doing an excellent job disrupting pieces as CSULB is trying to engage, and you can see these players start to get a bit scattered. UCI playing the mind game and are winning it so far.
Yeah, so it's interesting. I used to run into, when I used to play competitively, we had trouble with Wrecking Ball teams. I feel like with niche compositions like a Wrecking Ball or, I don't know. I just feel like Wrecking Ball is the most weirdest comp out there. It's like, you can't play what you're good at and be comfortable. That Wrecking Ball is just so weird. You have to deal with it. Like, it's not like, we're just going to play our game, and if we play it well, we're going to take down this Wrecking Ball. Not really. No, that's not... maybe sometimes with certain comps, but not with what we've seen out of CSULB so far.
And dealing with it, yes, that's an option, but at the end of the day, you gotta make a decision. Whether, are we gonna try to counter this? Are we going to flat out ignore it and try to rush the backline, which seemed to be the plan for this first map of Lijiang Tower? I would actually cry if I had to play against a Wrecking Ball, then walk into a Torb Symmetra as any tank player. That sounds miserable, and I don't think that you can find an efficient way to close that gap without taking a significant amount of damage. You're just hoping to hang on for dear life while maybe one of your DPS does something, and hopefully your supports don't die to the Wrecking Ball. That's just how oppressive UCI's composition has been so far. You can try to force it off, and picking a map like something that's more dive-centric. I'm thinking back to the last time we saw CSULB play 2 weeks ago against Mizzou, as they selected Watchpoint Gibraltar for the fifth and final map, and they had a killer Winston dive that they were able to pull out, and I wonder if that's going to be the selection for our next escort.
Yeah, unfortunately, it didn't end up being enough as Mizzou was able to pull it through with their own Winston dive of their own, but it was a very close, tight-knit map. We do know that it is going to be escort, and I mean, all signs on our screens are pointing to Watchpoint Gibraltar, so it wouldn't be a shock here if that's exactly where CSULB is taking them. We are a little bit shocked when they took, someone like Pella to a map like Watchpoint Gibraltar, but it seems like CSU finds comfort in this map.
I mean, honestly, Ray, I'm more scared to face UCI on this map than I am.
Exactly.
Like, oh, this one's gonna be tough. Like, we said that last time, and it was really close, but this is pushing it. Like, with how dominant
to be
Xcal's
fair,
been.
they didn't get the Pella Wrecking Ball last time. They got the Pella Winston. So it's like, does Rhino conform and play Winston on a map like Gibraltar on his home map? Or do we continue to see the Wrecking Ball is going to be the big question.
I mean, I'm seeing KHD, Ana, and Otter's Brig. I genuinely think these top two support line when it comes to the Ana Brig. Only rivaled by Winthrop. So, like, that alone is scary.
With the Ana Brig specifically?
With the Ana Brig specifically,
not
to mention Rhino.
I was going to say, I'm like, I think you're disrespecting those Redbird supports, but okay.
No.
The Ana Brig
specifically. Ana Brig specifically, this is I think this, outside of the Wrecking Ball, is the best composition for UCI. Honestly, I think if UCI got a map pick, this is the one they would choose, so not too many concerns there. I do want to see how CSULB can affect the tempo and the pacing. That entire first map, you're playing on the back foot. You're trying to react to these pile drives, to these bio nades, to the turrets, and trying to get those out. Can you set the tempo? Can you make UCI play into your hand? Watchpoint Gibraltar will be the turning point of the series for CSULB if they can find a way in.
As we enter Watchpoint Gibraltar, it will be on your screens very shortly, folks. Battle of California, UCI taking a nice, clean, easy win on Lijiang Tower, hoping to carry over the momentum through the rest of the series. Make this an easy night. CSU hoping to push UCI to their limits, as we do see on this defense, Rhino conforming, baby. Rhino Winston. And when I say conform, I don't even mean like Rhino's a bad Winston or anything like that, but it's like that's just how you know the power of Watchpoint Gibraltar. It's a Winston map, baby. It doesn't matter how good Wrecking Ball is. It's a Winston map, baby.
I also hear the name Rhino. I'm like, I immediately go to Winston and Wrecking Ball. So like, this is
yeah, no, this
for you,
yeah. I wasn't even trying to say Rhino's not a good Winston, but I'm just like, this shows you like, despite how good Wrecking Ball is for Rhino right now, this map still predicates the Winston.
I'm excited to see that. I'm excited to see KHD on this Ina. If you guys are not familiar, KHD stands for Korean Healing Demon. And let me tell you, this guy is a demon when it comes to the Bionades. 4 instantly hit. Like, I didn't barely have time to open my mouth. He knows how good he is on this map, and with otters to support him, that's just the first of many Bionades to come.
I actually did not know that tidbit, so that's
You're welcome.
learn something new every day, which is really awesome. That's such a ballsy name. So that's awesome.
Yep, what's not awesome is not having a support line. Had the teleporter to get hashtag and dabbing ninja across to the high ground, which it does work out, but Rhino was there kind of waiting for him. Didn't have any backup. The whip shot ended up macking a bubble, so CSULB haven't been able to get their supports set up properly to get a dive going.
I was a little worried there for a second when Rhino got low, but KHD came in with all the heals. We got Mashiro coming in for this map on the Tracer, so very interesting swaps coming in for this map.
Alright. It's been a minute since I've seen Bashiro play. I feel like I've seen Bashiro play every single role at this point, but he is kind of known as this Tracer player for the team, and Hyperflex player. He's really good at this Tracer and will come in on it for this map. Sai can do it as well, but I guess it's more known for the Genjis there, so it's just a little bit better for CSULB. Did take care of XCal for all of that. Unfortunately, you don't have a tank to really continue pushing this advantage. Quaver's just doing what he can to get things done, but I mean, rubbing the Primal Rage there. Come on, Rhino.
I did like that swap over to the Echo. Was able to get KHD down pretty early and then clean up. And also because of how much damage they were putting down, you forced out the Primal, but it doesn't matter. Rhino is just out here cleanup duty, janitor duty on the point, getting everyone off. CSULB, however, coming up on a lot of ults for this next fight.
Yeah, this is CSULB chance there to get this point moving. They have had Doohair pressuring the payload for most of this, and Rhino occupied with the support line. Kind of this vie for positioning. That's all Watchpoint Gibraltar is. It's not too common. Just these eliminations until positioning is granted. Rhino diving with a Natto. Beautiful whip shot. Hashtag just saved probably 2 players out of that alone. Unfortunately, can't do it for a second time, so the rally will have to be the trick. Quaver and Boltero, all the meanwhile, have gotten in there with the backline of UCI. This payload's moving, and Rhino never got what he came for.
Yeah, the big question is, do you get another touch before? And you absolutely are if you're the side of Mashiro, but yeah, okay, just bought enough time.
Maybe? Yeah, the touch is there. Rhino will have it, but it doesn't quite have the Primal Rage up yet, and it seems that CSULB will work their way through this first point, and I gotta say, I'm very happy with how this map has been playing out. A true dive masterclass so far.
Yeah, big ups for the side of CSU. I mean, they did have to commit every single ult they had, but I mean, they get the first point. They got some momentum going. UCI, the only thing you can say is they were smart. They held onto their ults, and they're going to be very much prepared for this next fight, as they're already doing their due diligence and trying to take this high ground away, and they found Ninja.
Yeah, without Nana here, CSULB not really much sustain to work with. Terra will drop down to the low ground as a result and hope to stop this bleeding. It seems it's only beginning with how KHD and Mashiro are grabbing Elims left, right, and center. Do you end up committing the pulse bomb to that? Not necessarily sure if it was needed, but you take the stagger, I guess.
I mean, UCI, I mean, considering that was really the only ult commit they used in that fight, I think you're totally fine with that. CSU, I think their big issue is now that UCI set up here, they have to make sure they path right and take good positionings. Great nade. KHD showing up again.
Dude, I don't even know where he was when he threw that. He had to be, like, close to the spaceship. He's on the spaceship when he hit that nade, for the record. I mean, Graham's got an arm on her, that's for sure. The cleanup is going to keep happening, and CSULB are finding themselves at the most oppressive point of Watch Point Gibraltar. Like, how do you deal with KHD up here?
Yeah, because the areas that you have to come from are just easy nade spots. So it's like you have to commit your shield early and block the nade. Winston's don't like doing that. Winston's always need the shield for when they dive in. It's a tough predicament if you're the side of CSU, but they have to find a way to break through.
It's almost like either A, hitting the brig shield, but it actually goes over hashtag, left low enough, but was able to kite away from Rhino's dive at the start, but Poltero couldn't do the same under the pressure of the UCI DPS line. Mashiro tearing this team apart one player at a time. Beautiful work from this Tracer player.
And again, they keep taking this high ground, which I agree they need to be able to do because they got to be able to get KHD and the likes off the high ground. But it's just allowing easy nades. Excal's now able to come into the fray, and it's allowing Mashiro, you know, while they're trying to deal with the front line of of Rhino and KHD with the nades and Winston, then Mashiro can just come on an off angle and just unload all this Tracer damage. It's a really sick setup that UCI has.
Yeah, UCI are looking great right now in terms of positioning, but also their ultimate management. I haven't really been overexpending all that much, at least to the point that it hasn't hurt them yet. CSULB, though, 5 ults on the board again. They know Mashiro's lurking in the back line. The shield's ready. Pulse bomb. Just gonna hit this rally shield there. Not even landing the shield bash. CSULB so scared of the impact that we've seen from this Tracer in the past. This is where the rest of the ults come into play. 4 have been popped, and Excal has been disposed of. It's duplicate. Not doing all that much other than just making sure your Echo can stay alive to fight another day and hopefully keep this payload on the move for the attackers. Sticky bombs in the back that puts KHD in a tricky situation. Moves around the corner, but gets his asleep. Wrapping back around, and Quaver nade as well. Mashiro on the final blow. This player is incredible when it comes to the Ana. But it's going to be enough for them to get fully back in. The nano jump was whip-shotted back. Otters peeked around the corner just in time to see the play. And it's overtime starting now. UCI are going to re-engage with Otters. Rally just to attempt to prevent this series from going on any further than it has to. The point, the touch has to happen, but Poltero doesn't have any support to continue backing him up. Quaver has to drop down from the top ropes at some point, but just gonna go ahead and save the stats for next round, I guess. It'll be 2nd point hold now for UCI.
Yeah, UCI give themselves a pretty good win condition. They just have to cap 2nd point on Watch Point Gibraltar, I think. Capping 2nd point's not a hard ask. Normally, if you get through 1st point, most of the time you get through 2nd, and then you tend to get stymied on 3rd. So, and I think, again, you know, after, you know, giving up 1st point where it was basically they gave it up because CSU used all their ultimates, KHD on the spaceship and on the high ground with those nades, I feel like I'm watching like Shu at some points with these nades. I'm like, oh my goodness.
I told you, he's great. He's amazing. And what he does on this Ana and UCI, this is their map. Like, I don't think I've even seen them pick another escort map.
He said it stood for Korean healer what?
Korean healing demon.
Healing demon.
Yeah. It's a title. It's a title, right? But he backs it up. And he's definitely on a great roster for it, having the likes of Rhino, Excal, Mashiro, and Otters, but it's been wonderful to see UCI pull off these excellent defenses and holding power positions and denying CSULB dives before they can get them fully set up. Mashiro interrupted nearly every single rotation and setup attempt on that 2nd point, and I'm sure they're going to try to do the same on this attack, but the space won't be given to you. You're going to have to yank it away from your opponents. We TP to the supports on the other side. HG and Otters will get there safely. Let's see how the setup begins.
Yeah, you can see the coaching of McGrady of this UCI esports. They just have their plans in every situation, every meta. Already got Doomhair, Rhino, already applying pressure. CSU LB already has to back up, and that's already going to be a lot of card space afforded. I mean, you still have Boltaro as a threat in the back line, but with your Cassidy down, I feel like you just need to get out of there.
Rhino's just vibing on this high ground, harassing Dabbing Ninja and hashtag. That's the most fun spot to be in as supports. We'll have to back down their tank just to keep Altero on their feet a little longer to stop this payload before it fully moves out of the tunnel. Another brief dive in from Rhino, more like a drop just to get out to safety. Is taking quite a few shots from Doom here. Didn't respect the hit scan enough and as far from the sight lines of KHD and Otters.
Yeah, I did feel like that was a bold thing to do there from Rhino to drop early like that, use the shield, and then escape under like that. I didn't think that was smart. Quaver now able to clean up, gets Mashiro as CSULB is able to stabilize a little bit, get their positions going. So now UCI, they're going to have to stage a dive and look to unhinge CSU out of these defensive positions.
Unfortunately, they did lose a lot of their not only high ground advantage, but also you're going to see Shiro back. I'm not sure why XCal stayed on the high ground as long as he did. That's a bit of a problem for UCI, especially losing KHD not long after. UCI were on their own adventure, just having to get a reset here. Bit uncharacteristic for them.
Yeah, that was the other big question to me. Like, where did that coach gun go for XCal? Like, I feel like you should always be holding that because you know the wins is going to be coming in at some point. I mean, you don't have to worry about that nano anymore, but it's really surprising to see that they didn't have that cooldown available.
Yeah, it's uncharacteristic for XCal. Incredible hit scan player, as he is, and is very flexible, amongst other things. Plays a lot of split speed DPS, but can sleep! Oh, KHD just be hitting those all the time. UCI, both DPS are down on the other end, and this payload is starting to move on forwards. Altaro trying to put the rest of the team through a blender. Not working so well, though, with Rhino getting a bit of a nano backup, ruining the Winton 1v1 on the high ground. KHD has got Rhino's back for the time being, and now the best position that he could possibly ask for. However, Rhino again stayed a lot longer than he should have, and UCI are losing fights by some slight overextensions.
Yeah, and just look at how much time they've been able to waste. Just over a minute left on the clock for UCI. Otters is now going to force the pop to rally, but the anti-nade came in and the hashtag was able to finish him off.
I don't think you should have rallied there in the first place.
No, definitely not.
Dude, definitely not within these final seconds. You're not swapping a brig either, Ray. That really hurts.
And look at this, Tiny. No one even really close to any ults for UCI. CSU's going to have a high noon to build some space for their team and a nano to work with. They have the opportunity. They might be able to first point, hold, and win this map.
It's got to be right here with how well it's going. The ults are certainly in their favor. UCI barely halfway to any of them. The only one that's Mashiro, and it's a pulse bomb of all things. Poltero leaping into the back line with a nano boost. With both a sleep and an anti-nade, so the effects don't last nearly as long as it's the healing. Yeah, barely present, but no, they lose Quaver throughout the CSULB. While they've done such a great job countering out UCI and punishing their over-aggression, they're starting to crumble under this last bit of pressure here. Poltero has 3 players occupied in this back room. 6 seconds remaining. The touch has to happen. XCal turning away from the Winton, letting the tank have their way with the supports of UCI. That's the confidence KHD have and Otters to survive, and yet UCI, it's such a disadvantage, managed to pull through after the heroic work of Otters and Mashiro.
Ooh, with the pressure mounting, they're able to get the job done. And with all those late staggers and all the late kills, a lot of cart progress is going to be able to be made. Basically, I think they'll be able to get this halfway to the final distance. And they have both of their, they're coming up on 4 of their checkpoints. Being able to win that fight essentially with no ults, big win for UCI.
I mean, that one hurts for CSULB too. Like, it was in the palm of your hand, and now you got to try to recover it. Quaver pulse bomb certainly starts. XCal wasn't expecting a first-class delivery from Otters anytime soon, but doesn't really seem to matter. Rhino and Mashiro are on their own adventures, rolling with a brig in a small room, and said now CSULB, they got to find their way back to the cart. Yeah,
with not a lot of time on the clock. Rhino also has a primal to try and push people off, and they're not able to touch. A slight C9 coming in for CSULB as UCI, who are pushed to the edge a little bit on that first point, able to clean up, dominate second point, and make this a 2-0 series.
Oh, that was brutal too. Like, you've got to feel for CSULB there, almost full holding UCI on their best map in the entire game, on one of their best compositions, just to have it slip away at the last second and proceed to be snowballed through that last point. And Oh, CSULB certainly put up a fight on that last map, but I think it's fair to acknowledge that for the vast majority of it, UCI were in the driver's seat, whether it was Rhino diving in, KHD doing whatever the heck that he wanted to, Bashero running around on the Tracer. It overall looked incredible for this team, and as now CSULB find themselves with their backs up against the wall.
We're going to be taking a quick break as CSU looks to try and make some changes to try and turn the series around. UCI hoping to make it a nice, easy 3-0. We'll find out what happens after this break.
What do you make of this up here? Just showed up in the yard a couple days ago.
Dog been digging in here?
I don't think so, dude. That goes way down in there. Seriously, did you just lose your meat stick?
Yeah.
Oh, no. There's something in there, dude. Just leave it.
Are you kidding me?
We'll just head to the house. Just leave it.
Hell with that.
Oh, yeah, there's something in there.
Want one?
Thank you.
It was worth it.
Oh, man, this is incredible.
Oh, wow.
Huh?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. Hey, man, grab me a meat stick. I think I can reach it if I just a little more. Just let me go a little. I can't. Just a little more. I almost got it. Careful! Oh, God. No, come on, just reach. Reach. Just grab my hand. I can't hold it. Grab my hand.
Give me the meat stick. This other hand's closer. The one with the stick is... Oh! What am I supposed to say?
It doesn't matter. He's dead. He ain't listening to you anyway.
I'm hungry.
No. Put it away. I can't watch it. Oh, crap. Just reach in. You gotta pull it. Just grab it. Just take it out of his hand. What do you mean you can't?
He won't let go.
What do you mean he won't let go? He's dead.
Help me. Get in there. Now just hold on.
Make him let go of it. No, I got you covered. Just go in for a hug. Go and get on in there. It's a bad loss. Yeah, hug him up. Just reach. Hug him up.
He's breathing. I think it's on the other side.
Go.
I can't.
Just-
I can't do it.
Help me, Lord. Help me get over this loss.
I can't breathe.
Hey, I can't breathe. I'm so upset. I can't breathe. Stop. You knock on wood so they go to heaven. It's like a lucky. Hey, get the stick.
Yeah,
Hey, did you get the meat stick?
yeah, I got it.
Hey, just hold tight for a second. They're moving the casket. Just hold tight.
Yeah, it's no worries. I got it.
Oh, what an awesome day for a pump, dude.
Yeah, I gotta take it easy. Doc says if I exert myself, I will die.
You overexert yourself, you will die.
I'll tell you what. You finish the workout, all these could be yours. That looks good. A little bit of honey ham for the ham. Get after it, and that's your treat. do the exercise, do the work, then you get the reward. That's how this works, man. You gotta give it max effort, maximum effort. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Big hams. Make it work, those hams. Work 'em. Putting in the work. Yeah, baby. Yes. Dude, this is a spicy workout. Gotta make it worth it. Building the beef and bringing home the bacon, baby. I'm loving it. Teriyaki is just about within your reach. Come on, get you some. Come on. Ooh. Maximum effort. Maximum effort. You're there. You're almost there.
That's so worth it.
I gotta get to you.
UCI have a 2-0 lead over the Battle of California at this time. CSULB stand with one last push map selection to see if they can get the ball rolling, or rather stop it, since you're playing against UCI and likely will be facing off against the Hamster again on Coliseo.
As you can see on the map, we will be going to push for map number 3. Choices have been made. Ban was New Queen Street from UCI, which is interesting considering that's probably one of the better Wrecking Ball maps for push. But alas, Coliseo is where we are going for the side of CSU LB. They have to win every single map going forward, starting with Coliseo. For UCI, as we mentioned before the break, they've been dominating Lijiang. You know, they got pushed to their limits a little bit on their attack first point, but they want to make this clean and easy, send them home, wrap it up. It's still early in California, but they want to be done.
What time is it? It's like
It's
6:40?
It's 6:44 in California.
6:44. Like you say it's early. It's like 10 p.m. Oh yeah, no, it's 3 hours behind Eastern time. So there you go. And yeah, you're getting a nice little. You finished up your classes for the week. You're got some dinner in you. Gotta play a nice game. And I gotta give UCI credit. In a lot of situations like this, when you're facing an opponent that perhaps is not as scary, that you're giving them the respect. You're playing your compositions as well as you can. You're keeping it serious. And UCI do deserve a shout out for that. And it's a really good showcase of the skill that they do have, and the reason that they're not only within the top 10 of power rankings consistently, but also at the top of NECC's Division 1.
This is what I've been waiting to see, baby. Boltaro Sigma going against the Rhino Wrecking Ball. So we're going to have to see if these changes are going to be enough to keep CSU LB in this series or not. Rhino already, having to play a little bit safer to try and avoid those accretion rocks.
A little drive-by. Rhino got it earlier. It's confirmed that CSU will be playing One thing I'm not sure about is this Pharah, and also the Juno is going to be rather difficult to keep alive with Mashiro still in, by the way, running it down on this Tracer. Tracer and Wrecking Ball are the best friends you could possibly have. Very fun composition to be playing together because you focus down targets so well, and you are super duper fast. CSULB, yet again, playing a reactionary style, but can't get the rocks to land the way they want to. Only now taking down the XCal, but it's a little bit late with the rest of their players coming back from spawn.
And they did get Otters early on, so Otters is just now coming back. That's going to be the thing
Widow?
for UCI. XCal not going to go over to the Widow, so they're going to have to be worried about that. Got to watch your heads if you're CSU.
UCI are going for an execution type comp, but we do see the damage the boulders can offer. Rhino was hit with one earlier, and eventually Hashtag ended up chasing him down there. So this is an example how the Sigma works into a hamster, but you got to be able to keep it up between Bionade, sleeps, shots from XCal like that, Discord orbs from Otter. UCI are doing their darndest to play as far away from CSELB as possible.
Yeah, this feels like an interesting like pick hybrid composition or dive hybrid pick. Dive, pick, poke hybrid kind of thing, where it's like you got Rhino and Mashiro who are setting up dives, but XCal and Otters are poking, and KHD setting up the dives with the nades. So it's a lot to deal with if you decide of CSULB.
But it lives on the execution of Rhino, right? If you can hit Rhino with the boulders, deny pile drives, deny these roll-throughs, and flat out don't peek XCal because he will clip your head and triple kill from him. What has gotten into XCal today? Holy! He didn't even need a pile drive set up from that. He did that all by himself.
Someone had their Wheaties for breakfast as Payload going under the bridge, getting ready to come up on the first checkpoints, but I don't think CSULB is going to let them give it up so easily, but Mashiro's like, I win the Tracer battle.
No, you're wrong, Ray. XCL didn't have Wheaties, he had his beef sticks. What's his beef sticks? Breakfast, that's what it was.
He had the
That's
beef
actually
sticks,
very
right.
nutritious, actually. I mean, he's ready to go today, and UCI did manage to get this checkpoint, put a nano into Mashiro. Of all players, very scary. Let's look at that. One clip's just got a whole lot easier. Nice one melee, too, to close it out. CSULB, I think they're going to want to switch off the Sigma, considering Coltero just committed the Graphitic Flux in a 3v1 situation. So we'll see what their choices going ahead, because you got to turn this broad around at some point. Oh.
Yeah, I mean, Hashtag Rain is going to take down Mashiro, but it doesn't really matter when all of the picks. I mean, okay, getting XCal, that's big. Now they should be able to take this, control the bot, get some momentum going in their favor, but I say that. They also have a lot of ults to work with, 4 of them. So I think, despite, committing that flux late, they're in a good spot.
Yeah, you're okay. You're able to stabilize behind the Sigma a little bit better, and it was more so just to match the Transcendence being out. KHD and Otters did switch to Kiriko Lucio, so they want to play a faster pace, keep up with their tank more, seeing that as a win condition. However, that does require you to play closer, and by closer, that means you're in the range of Boltaro, as KHD just found himself, so not a ton of sustain, actually 0 sustain. Now, Boltaro's second on the board for them, and UCI, they're just stalling this payload. There hasn't really been anywhere for the robot to move, even though they're down 5v3.
Oh, but getting Dabbing Ninja, there goes all your healing if you decide of CSULB. I mean, they can still push this cart, but this fight's not going to go in their favor.
No, and you can't even push the bot because of Rhino and how he's playing as a nuisance. Like, you're going to need one heck of a massive splice water to make him actually leave, and eventually will at 40, 80 HP there or something. CCLB, they don't see the hamster, like, all right, let's get serious. Sound barrier and overclock together, but Jupiter can't quite find any of the targets that they thought were present, so UCI will skate away. Oh no, they grabbed the robot Ray too. The bot moving completely away. Anything that CSULB do now completely gone to waste.
Oh, that's absolutely disaster. They're just pushing the cart and getting distance while they're fighting on the other side of the map. Rhino is now, he's in a 2v1, but is able to control it.
You're a hamster. You're not going to die to a Tracer Lucio. You've 5,000 HP if you choose that. And okay, great parkour over there to get the mega health pack. And the CSUB actually were doing pretty good in that fight too.
That they were. XCal now on the Sombra, which I've been asking CSU to play that. UCI's like, we got you.
They want to full commit now with Rhino. It's like, okay, we're going to let Rhino do his thing, and then we're kind of going to commit. Now we're fully committed, and that's what allows you to withstand an orbital ray and the pulse bomb and a gravitic flux's full commitment on this front line. Otters getting in there and doing some dirty damage. A triple kill for them on the Lucio, and yeah, UCI getting active in this kill feed.
Yeah, I love me some Otters. I feel like Otters has been a very underrated main support player.
Yeah.
You know, playing that Brig a lot of times, playing that Lucio. I think they do a fantastic job, and you don't hear their name enough.
It is main support. Main support players don't get nearly the amount of respect that they deserve, and Otters is definitely up there when it comes to great main support players in Collegiate. But what else is Mashiro and Rhino's teamwork. Pile drive onto Doom here. Quick little couple pellets chucked on in to go ahead and execute them. Volterra is back on this Junker Queen. We saw this a little bit on Lijiang Tower. I think it works better here since you're not having to deal with all of this poke damage and can focus on these targets that are forced to play at a closer range to you. However, you're not really finishing them off fast enough and have to commit a lot more ultimates like the sound barrier that doesn't even come to all that much benefit.
Yeah, it keeps the team alive. We saw Dabbing Ninja got low there and they needed the sustain and to keep the heals going, or else they might not have won that fight. So you didn't want to use it, but it was absolutely necessary. And now UCI can re-engage. They're basically coming up on a full war chest, Tiny. This is dangerous territory for CSULB.
Ooh, and it's about to become more dangerous if you keep losing players like that in the neutral. Quaver even chucking a pulse bomb, attempting to even out. Goes a little wide, and UCI, they're waltzing into this next engagement with a 5-finger punch of ults.
Mashiro, man. Mashiro's come in since map number 2 and just been cleaning up on this Tracer. And it's funny because you don't, when you think of UCI, Mashiro's never one of the first players you think of, but they're playing fantastic on Tracer.
Hey, it's the Tracer and the Wrecking Ball synergy, and it works out in these small rooms. Mashiro pulse bomb stick, the EMP, a bit of a cherry on top, and UCI might just get this final cap here and now. I don't think there's any stackers left to go either.
And they still have the sound barrier and their mines to work with. As we see CSU, they're going to have this Kitsune rush, and they should get the Rampage. So we're going to have to see how Rhino wants to place these mines.
The minefield will determine the area, the effect of not only the Kitsune rush, but also the Rampage. NKHD's ability to save the Suzu, or just spot the sound barrier, or just to take care of Otters. Okay, my bad. I'll take the blame for that one. You do still have a Suzu if you need it. UCI aren't giving up this robot. They're not letting CSULB take the space on this bridge. Rhino knows he has as much health as he needs, and with Mashiro continuing to clean up these eliminations, there's not even much of a need for UCI to commit anything.
As we do see XCal taking full advantage of that perk to hack your own allies and heal them. That's an interesting little new niche that Sombra has.
Yeah, it's been really helpful just to ensure that, with all these mobile targets, that the healing will end up landing. We'll see what they can do in this part. Another pulse bomb built up. Quaver's racking them up. Unfortunately, they just haven't been hitting their targets as needed, and there's the Rampage out. Only hits Otter's sound barrier. Down as a response to that, when Colin is out the doors of 2 more, just made themselves present in the form of CSULB's support ultimates, fighting at their own gates. They have to get a touch on the payload and continue the contest for a while, but between both Rhino having the time of his life and Otter's walking around like he owns the place, it seems that UCI are on the bridge to a full completion of a push. 3-0 in week 4 of NECC.
Yeah, for CSU, you've been punching up, fighting hard, working your way up the ranks, but UCI, the gap between like the 6th best collegiate team and the 21st we see is pretty big, to be honest. I mean, CSU had their moments, but UCI was always in control this entire series.
Dude, XCal. There's just so many strong pieces of talent on UCI's team. It's been that way for a while, too. UCI's always been a dominant name. It kind of says the history of collegiate Overwatch as a whole. This is kind of coming down, though, to one of the last few seasons you will have this roster. A lot of these players are about to graduate and move on, so this is their chance to give it all they have and kind of fight at these top teams that very few have been able to break past so far. And if UCI continue to stay in a form like this, Ray, it's very possible to see them overcome that last hill by the end of the season.
Yeah, so a couple of takeaways that I take away from this. I'm going to start with CSULB. I think just watching that first point defense they had on Watch Point Gibraltar gave me a lot of hope for them continuing to build and get better. And the fact that, you know, UCI has all these top tier players and they have McGrady coaching them. The fact that they had a chance where they actually pushed UCI a little bit, I think it bodes well. For the side of UCI, you know, I'm looking at them. I want to see them in non-dive situations, like non-Winston, non-wrecking ball situations, because I think when we start getting to ABC and when they start playing teams like, you know, Redbirds, Winthrop, you know, BSC is probably in the same realm as them. I think, you know, the flexibility is going to be key. You're not going to be able to just play dive everywhere, but they're making me think like they're up there, man. They might be around that 5-6. Like I think BSC and UCI stocks are on the rise, and some of the other colleges who are in the top 5, their stocks are kind of dropping a little bit, like Fisher, for example.
Well, if there's one thing that's for certain after the conclusion of today, it's that Fisher and UCI will defend their spots towards the top of the North American collegiate rankings, and CSULB and both Briar College too. They are doing wonderful jobs in punching up and continuing to show the improvements that these schools' teams have made, and we'll have to keep an eye on them for the remainder of the season. However, that is going to go ahead and do it for us here on the desk today, and as a week for NECC broadcast as a whole. Thank you all for stopping by and supporting the NECC Overwatch, and we'll see you back again on Monday.
Before we officially close the broadcast, would also like to thank our sponsors, Wenzel's and G Fuel. We could not do these broadcasts if we didn't have great partners like you guys, and we will see you all next week for week 5.
What do you make of this up here? Just showed up in the yard a couple days ago.
Dog been digging in here?
I don't think so, dude. That goes way down in there. Seriously, did you just lose your meat stick?
Yeah.
Oh, no. There's something in there, dude. Just leave it.
Are you kidding me?
We'll just head to the house. Just leave it.
The hell with that.
Oh, yeah, there's something in there. Ah!
Want one?
Thank you.
It was worth it.
Oh, man, this is incredible.
Oh, wow.
Huh?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. Hey, man, grab me a meat stick. I think I can reach it if I just a little more. Just let me go a little. I can't. Just a little more. I almost got it. Careful! Oh, God. No. Come on, just reach. Reach. Just grab my hand. I can't hold it. Grab my hand.
Give me the meat stick. This other hand's closer. The one with the stick is